American Beauty. American Beauty.
Well, hello and welcome to the Confused Breakfast. Do you remember the pure joy of a trip to the video rental store as a kid? It's hard to beat the ease of the modern era in streaming platforms where you don't even have to leave your couch. But there was something truly special about leaving your high school job that has the least possible amount of responsibility of your entire life, heading to Blockbuster to pick out a movie and take it home and watch. On this podcast, we revisit and dissect some of our favorite childhood movies from that magical era to see if they still move us the way they did as kids. My name is Mike Schulte. Joining me as always, two dudes who love choking the bishop, shaving the carrot, saying hi to their monster. Sean Pryor and AJ Vance, how the heck are ya?
Pretty good, man. I'm starting to see the beauty in life. I gotta tell you.
What's so beautiful about life? Maybe being a three-time award winner for the Iowa Podcast Awards?
Might have a little bit to do with it.
Think so?
I don't know. I'm maybe a little bit proud of that. Maybe.
The Confused Breakfast announcement time took home 3 awards at the first annual Iowa Podcast Awards, and maybe most importantly, Podcast of the Year. That's
crazy.
A beautiful thing.
Insane.
Yeah, it's pretty dope. Like I said, I'll be honest with you boys, I'll be sappy for it. The most beautiful thing I've ever seen is the Ensemble Award.
Yeah, that's what Sean was saying.
Winning that with you boys, that was my big one. That was the one I wanted, and I'm so glad that we got that.
And the
Cheers
people,
to you, fellas.
the ensembles that we were up against, it was like, oh shit, we're probably not going to win this one.
I honestly didn't think so. Especially, I was saying, it's like duos probably have a better chance than trios. You know, that's like more chemistry you got to add in, more you got to work with. It's like, oh my God. So it's a big deal.
Well, I will stand by it. I think the reason we are still a podcast today and the reason people listen is because of us three in the room talking on mics about good movies. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Cheers,
man.
boys.
Hell yeah. And we got to thank you guys so much for listening because this would not be possible without you whatsoever. So thank you so much.
It takes a village. It takes a village. There's 3 of us in front of the cameras. There's several behind the cameras. There's a lot of people at home. Thank y'all.
Well, boys, on today's episode, we're going to talk about the 77th highest rated movie on IMDb, a movie that won 5 Oscars and was one of only 2 Best Picture winners of the 90s that wasn't a period piece, a movie that taught all men that emotions and paper bags can get you the girl of your dreams. This movie came out 25 years ago. We're, of course, talking about 1999's American Beauty.
Is that a menstruation
Well,
joke?
dang it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for another nostalgic journey to the past with The Confused Breakfast. Sit back, relax, and enjoy wherever you are in the world. Take it away, boys.
A lot of your award is in the mail. It's heading your way.
You bet.
It's going overseas, so just look for that one. If you
take a month.
It's going to take a while. It's on a ship. If you are new to the podcast, we're going to be reviewing American Movie. I'm trying to say, I've been fighting myself. American Beauty, scene by scene with a modern eye. But in order to do that properly, we got to talk about it with pure nostalgia. Let's start with Sean on this one. Tell us the first time you saw it, what your thoughts were, and what your rating was back in the day.
I saw this movie. I had just kind of heard about it. This wasn't like the usual of like, oh, you know, I have to consume all the great movies out there. I have to go pick up American Beauty because that's, you know, adjacent to Tarantino for sure. Nothing like that. It was just one of those movies that was just like, yeah, I hear it's a good movie. It won a bunch of Oscars and Kevin Spacey's good in it. And so I watched it and I was like, yeah, it's a really good movie. 8.
And
look at that.
And that was it. And you moved on with your life. You said, wow, great.
I haven't yet to revisit it until now.
Wow.
And so we will see. But yeah, about an 8 back then.
We'll see if that holds up. AJ, how about you, man?
You know, it took me a long minute, if you will, to realize that I did in fact actually see this movie. Because like I actually went into this thinking that I hadn't seen it.
Really?
Like I'll be honest with you. But then I started when I started watching it, I started catching all the little details. And this is also a movie that is pretty well like copied in like pop culture and stuff
for
too.
Sure.
So, but no, I do remember watching it. I did not understand it. And this is at the point when I didn't care. I saw this when I wanted to watch movies like Lethal Weapon, and I wanted to watch Independence Day, and that's what I wanted to watch. It was either that or show me Dumb and Dumber again.
Of course.
That's all I cared about. And it was like, and then like if all of a sudden it's just
There's my street.
There it is. My life
Robin
is
Hood
gonna
Lane.
be boring. You're right. Click.
Where's Spider-Man?
Yeah. It's like Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. Where's Doc Ock? And so that's what I cared about. Anyways, guys, so I didn't really give a damn. I wish I did. I didn't, unfortunately. But I did watch it, and I guess I'll give this a 4.5 at that point. Okay.
4.5. Well, I'm the complete opposite. I was 18 when I saw this.
Oh, this was important. Then.
Oh my God, the idea of Ricky Fitz and how fucking the beauty in paper bags and like, oh my God, this just spoke to me. And the idea, a lot of movies, we'll get into it later. A lot of movies of '99 spoke to me very hard.
I guess so, yeah.
In the let me try to put this in the right way. In the guise of like, yeah, fuck getting older. Fuck old. I'm never going to be that old guy. You know, I was Ricky Fitz when I first saw
Never
this.
going to be owned by my stuff.
I'm never going to be 42 with the family. That is never going to happen.
Definitely
okay?
not.
I absolutely love this movie. This was a movie where I'm like, we got to watch this over and over. I got to show my friends. I got to tell people about it. So I was a 9.5.
Wow.
When I first saw this movie.
Gee dang.
We do got Starling, executive producer,
my
on
boy.
the show today. Let's see what he has to say. He says this movie was very much along the lines of, hey, there's a bunch of good actors you've heard of in this movie. And that movie was available at Blockbuster, and I rented it. What I can tell you is that when this came out, Mina Suvari was by far the appeal for me to rent this, as I had loved American Pie. Unlike today, where the ending would be spoiled by a guy on TikTok with 26 followers, I saw it blind. I was shocked by the ending, and I have neither seen it again nor discussed it with anyone since. I would say that this was a 6.5 for the fact that I've never sought it out to see it again, though I was happy to see it when I heard you were reviewing it. So, as a group, we're going to be a 7.13 as a crew. If you're talking about that from a nostalgic eye of any movie we've done, 7.13 is all alone at the 76th spot. We thought that Fast and the Furious, Armageddon, and Young Guns was better,
Yeah.
but we thought this movie was better than Basketball, Predator, and Waterworld. That's what we thought.
No, I didn't.
I didn't either.
No.
Well, apparently I did, I guess.
We are. This is a group venture. You signed up to say whatever our score is a group venture. So
Right,
that is what it is.
Ensemble host.
Ensemble host. But we
Already
are
disagree.
We are going to strip that away. We're going to talk about it only the way that matters with a modern eye from here on out. So let's go to Sean. Let's learn the important details of the movie. What do you got, bro?
Produced by Bruce Cohen and Dan Jenks. Written by Alan Ball. He also wrote the television show True Blood.
Oh.
Music by Thomas Newman. Sorry. He did the music for Road to Perdition, The Lost Boys, The Great Outdoors, Jarhead, Cinderella Man, and Shawshank Motherfucking
He wrote
Redemption.
Yakety Yak? Holy shit.
Yeah.
Wow, dude. Damn.
Can you believe it?
Yeah.
Should have won an Oscar. Cinematography by Conrad Hall. This is the man. Marathon Man, Road to Perdition, Fat City, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, which is a Western, and then also a Western based on AJ's recollection. Cool Hand Luke.
Nice. All right.
Yep,
Fantastic.
that's a
Great
Western.
Western.
He shot that Western.
And if you know that joke, then you've been along for the ride, and this
Yeah.
award is yours as well.
This belongs to you as much as us.
Yes, it does.
Directed by
Ensemble.
Sam Mendes. He also did Road to Perdition, Revolutionary Road, Skyfall, and Spectre. Cast: Kevin Spacey, Annette Bening, Thora Birch, Wes Bentley, Chris Cooper, Mina Suvari, Peter Gallagher, Allison Janney, Scott Bakula, he's back, Sam Robards, and John Cho. Yeah, he made the starring role. Originally, American Beauty was written in the early 90s by Alan Ball for the stage. The story was inspired by the Amy Fisher trial, where she was known as the Long Island Lolita, where she killed the wife of her fuck daddy. There's more to it. Just go look it up. That's basically it. Alan Ball said the script really didn't work for the stage, so he spent time writing for television and trying to break into Hollywood. His agent said he should write a spec script and send it out. American Beauty was what Ball sent out. Ball was shocked that DreamWorks Studios was not only only up for the option for the film, but they wanted to buy the script outright. Alan Ball also feared that a studio like DreamWorks would want Ball to water down the material, but they were fully on board and planned to make the film for about $7 million. DreamWorks involved Ball in most of the production, including casting, hiring a director. Ball didn't want a more established director to make the film because he feared that the decision would increase the budget, but nevertheless, DreamWorks offered the script to Robert Zemeckis and Mike Nichols, who both turned it down. I think that was really cool and kind of a interesting foresight that he had, even just like his first kind of feature-length screenplay, where he's like, no, we shouldn't hire a big, huge director for this because this is a kind of a littler movie, and I don't want to get like blown out of proportion, please. An unknown stage director at the time, Sam Mendes, found the script on his desk in a pile of 8 and said that this is what he wanted his first feature film to be. Mendes was also attracted to the Paris, Texas-esque look at America and the myth of the American life. Bruce Willis, Kevin Costner, John Travolta, and even Chevy Chase were suggested for this by the studio for the role of Lester, with Chase even being offered the role, but he turned it down.
That's interesting. I would kind of like to see it, just to see it.
Chevy Chase?
Yeah, I'm not saying it's going to be better, but I just kind of want to see it. Like I wish it would have been like a Back to the Future thing where they actually filmed for like a week.
Yeah.
But then decided it wasn't a good fit. Like I want to see it.
It's one of those, like we say this sometimes, like all the actors that were up for a role, this one makes the most sense.
Kind of does.
Like I could totally see him as Lester in this movie.
Man, that's tough for me, guys.
Really?
I'm sorry.
I mean, just like the kind of I guess, broken man who is also kind of making that a comedy in a way.
Yeah, that's the thing of it, is like his character's actually really funny in this movie. And Chevy Chase might take that a little too far. Sure. Maybe the subtlety of Spacey is what's great.
The sarcasm might have gotten it too far for me.
Okay.
Maybe that's where I'm going, I guess. But you're right. I'm like, I don't completely disagree with you, but I'm just like, it is tough for me.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
No, it's fun.
Helen Hunt and Holly Hunter, the HHs, were in mind for Carolyn. Kevin Spacey was cast. Thank you. Kevin Spacey was cast based off his strength in Seven and the Usual Suspects, while Annette Bening is just one of the best actors ever, so she was offered the role of Carolyn.
They're like, you want it? You got it.
Yeah. They were both Sam Mendes' first choice for the roles.
They saw her in Great Outdoors. They're like, that's a fucking actress.
Well, we got to get the guy that did the music, too.
Yeah.
Let's get him on
Might
board.
as well.
Principal photography began December 14th, 1998. Being Mendes' first film, he was feeling a bit of the inexperience and also fought constantly with DreamWorks about budget and shooting schedule, although they did not interfere with the film's content. Mendes was not satisfied with the first 3 days of filming and asked the studio to reshoot them. He did cite only himself to blame for what wasn't working and didn't hesitate to ask experienced DOP Conrad Hall for advice. Bit of a bold move. Your first film, you're like, the first 3 days were shit. We got to redo it. And they're like, okay, I guess we trust you.
Whatever.
American Beauty was released on September 17th, 1999, and on a budget of $15 million, the film made $356.3 million at the box office and was nominated for 8 Academy Awards, winning 5, including Best Actor, Best Cinematography, Best Screenplay, Best Director, and Best Picture. That's all I got.
And obviously, Annette Bening losing. She was the only one that lost that for the big round of 6, sort of. I do want to point these out. I said that this film, American Beauty and The Silence of the Lambs, are the only 2 Best Picture winners in the 90s not to be a period piece.
That's crazy.
Here
That's
are the other ones.
Wild fact.
Here are the other ones. Shakespeare in Love, Titanic, The English Patient, Braveheart, Forrest Gump, Schindler's List, Unforgiven, Dances with Wolves.
Wow.
Isn't that nuts?
That is crazy.
So essentially that was the formula to win Best Picture back in the 90s. It was like, do a period piece.
Well, I want to make American Beauty. We want to make it about today. It was like,
no!
60s.
Go to the 60s.
60s.
No.
Then 2000 came around. I was like, technology! More technology!
Yeah. Matrix hit, and they're like, fuck all this.
Oh! Well, thanks, Sean. Up next, we got to go to AJ. He gets us the research from critics and fans alike. We get to read all those ratings and reviews. What do you got on this one?
Do you guys want to see the most beautiful thing I've ever filmed?
Yeah.
It's the tomato meter!
Your best yet. Here, take an award.
Oh, wow.
have an
Thanks,
award.
man. I just want to thank
Rotten
Tomatoes. For an 87% on this, 87% certified fresh.
Of any movie we've done, that is tied with Donnie Darko and The Warriors, per the critics.
Donnie Darko makes so much sense.
Yes, it does.
The old popcorn meter.
It's the popcorn meter.
It's the fart corn meter. 93% audiences.
Crunch.
That's what we need. We just need the obnoxious guy in the theater who's eating popcorn and sipping soda. That's what we need. That's the soundbite. Which rifling through the bucket. Just can I get more butter? 93%.
Apparently, we're supposed to use my not great soundbite from that thing you do episode.
Oh, yeah.
For anything that's less than a 7.
Not great.
So not great.
Not great.
That's not great.
Not great. I love that.
I'll get that.
Oh God. Let's see. IMDb 8.3.
8.3. That is tied in the 10th spot of any movie we've done with Reservoir Dogs.
Resi.
Per the peoples. The people have spoken. That's what they have to say.
Okay. Fair enough. Some other people spoke, and they were professionals about it. Christopher Brandon gave it a 100 out of 100. TNT Rough Cut, a dark comical masterpiece that single-handedly announces the collapse of the American family infrastructure as it exists on the brink of Y2K. He is a big fan. Bill Gallo also said 100 out of 100. Dallas Observer gracefully defies the usual categories, gets under your skin in ways that you cannot anticipate, then works its way straight toward the heart. It's far and away the bravest and best movie of the year.
Wow.
LA Weekly gave it an 80 out of what?
Purring.
I'll never be able to do it again. Nope. LA Weekly surprises you with a kind of hard-headed romanticism, and David Sterrett over at the Christian Science Monitor, who kept an eye on this for the Christian Science, gave it a 75 out of 100, a 7.5 if you will, meaning that's a pretty good movie.
Oh, okay.
He said it's a ruthless dissection of suburban malaise. Tony with 3 Y's.
Okay.
He gave it a 1 out of 10 and then had the audacity to call it mediocre. September 4th, 2022. Supposedly, acid comedy or treated as satire, this movie is quite mediocre, boring with poor writing and generic cinematography. How it got any critical acclaim is beyond my comprehension. I have no idea why I have to write 600 characters to say that this movie is mediocre, overrated, boring, poorly written, pseudo-intelligent, empty, meaningless, generic, and with generic cinematography. So many dots, so he could fill out his 600 characters. Sorry your review is too short. It needs to contain at least 600. Sorry your review is too short. 600. These are the people who leave reviews on IMDb. They don't have anything to actually say.
You don't have to write 600
Apparently,
words.
in 2022, you did.
What?
Because they were probably getting inundated with more bullshit from Tony. That's it. So, yeah, that's a thing, guys. Another 1 out of 10 overrated movie. I never understood the hype around this movie. It's also boring. All the characters are dysfunctional. Now, that's kind of interesting. It's sold as if it were a satire about the suburbs, but where is the satire? The acting is great, and the cinematography is okay. Nothing else. See, that didn't have to be 600 characters.
Come on.
Super weird. That guy holds himself to a real high standard.
It's Stephen King.
This is one of my favorites. There were not a lot of low ratings on this. Obviously, I liked it. There was a lot more of the higher ratings for this, but I did find a 4 out of 10 that said Kevin Spacey, Wes Bentley. This was bronze SRV in 2020. 2 stars for Kevin Spacey, 2 stars for Wes Bentley. This movie was very confusing and all over the damn place. And the ending was just ridiculous. Oscar nominated my ass. The movie held my attention, yet took me nowhere. but he spelled nowhere Know.
Yeah, that's right.
Good.
You know,
I thought so too. A secret homophobic in the military / Nazi? What the hell was that about? That did not fit into the movie whatsoever. Wes Bentley's role was awesome, complicated, troubling, yet he pulled it off very well. And Kevin Spacey is amazing as always. Again, it is the script I had a problem with. Couldn't have had a problem with it that much if you liked them so much, right,
Agreed.
guys? I mean, come on. We had a lot of contributions into the Little Lebowski Urban Achievers, our exclusive Discord on Patreon.
Patreon.com/confusedbreakfast is that easy.
I was stoked to see some of this
Fucking
come through.
great.
You know what, guys? We're getting to that point. Oh, I hope we can get to all of you. Sometimes we can, sometimes we can't. Devin, Carlisle, let's talk about you. It's got everything, man, said my older brother, interrupting me as he brought this VHS to my parents' house. 16, and from what I can remember, it was really the first time since Shawshank that I experienced a movie that did nothing more than simply tell a story. I like that. Sold by the narrative, vantage point. I was enthralled by the acting, absolute incredible direction, and the fact that my brother was correct. It's funny, sad, it's uncomfortable. There's death, deceit, and a lack of redemption. Lots of great stuff in there. Nostalgic 10, he said, and a modern 10. We'll get to some more on that. I absolutely love it. A huge crush on Thora Birch. Finally got to see that sweet.
Yeah. Hey, we were no perv, man. He says no perv. I'm reading it.
I know. Sweet Melon Batch. She'd been going since Hocus Pocus. No perv. She's older than me by about a year and a half.
Totally loud.
Hey, dude, it's totally legit.
Totally legit,
It's totally legit. Jarrett Layoff had a very simple comment adding on to Devin. That's why I wanted to make sure I made some points on Devin's. Came here for the mention of sweater puppies and was not disappointed. Oh, man. Walter Fielding. Movie that did it for me in 1999. Is 20 years old. Saw it in the theater and loved it so much. Don't know why. Him and a friend. He said, I made a friend watch Expectations with high praise only for them to ask, what the fuck did I just watch?
Yeah, I think that happened to me too.
Fair enough.
Yep.
Nostalgic 9.5. And Nick Mad can't. I just will get a couple notes out of yours, Nick. Fight Club. If Fight Club and American Pie had a baby, it probably would look something like American Beauty.
oh yeah.
Yeah, from its blend of humor, sexual exploration, its portrayal of consumerism, corporate blackmail, this film manages a unique chronicle, the slow death of the typical 90s nuclear family. Spot on, sir. Will someone please pass the fucking asparagus? Nostalgic rating an 8. We'll talk about props and punchable faces and P names a little later.
Well, boys, before we start our scene-by-scene breakdown, I have to tell you a story. Something happened to me, and it changed my life. It was one of those days when it's a minute away from snowing, and there's this electricity in the air. You can almost hear it. And this plastic bag was just dancing with me, like a little kid begging for me to play with it for 15 minutes. That's the day I realized that there was this entire life behind things and this incredibly benevolent force that wanted me to know there was no reason to be afraid ever. And that was the moment where I knew I had to start a podcast with my friends where we just record our conversations and just put it out there. I mean, we talk about traffic and just record our conversations. I mean, we're funny. And that's when I knew. So here we go. Episode 1. Scene 1, Lester Burnham, a middle-aged marketing executive in suburbia, describes his miserable life and his neighborhood to the audience. He goes to his miserable job and is asked to write why he's important to the company. At home that night, the family has an argument with new neighbor Ricky Fitz outside videotaping. The next day, Lester's wife Carolyn tries to sell a house during an open house. This hit me real hard because, like I told you when I used to watch this, I was like, yeah. Man, getting old must really suck, man. I got my whole life in front of me. And he goes, yeah, I'm 42 years old. I go, God damn it. I'm 42 years old.
You're the same age as Kevin Spacey in this movie.
Yes.
Oh, God.
Different.
It hit. So I basically paused it and went, I'm not going to watch this anymore. And so basically everything from here on out is just from memory, okay? So
Okay,
I
that's
didn't
fine.
rewatch it.
Fantastic.
That's fine.
God
Yeah.
damn it.
I have to say, like, it starts off with the beginning of the scene where,
The videotaping.
yeah, Ricky is filming Dora
Jane.
Birch, Jane, and
Jorna Birch.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
Unfortunately, Dora Birch just looks like she would be perfect in a Slaughtered Vomit Dolls movie. That's especially like shot on VHS. Like those movies are just like found footage movies that are just like supposed to shock
Boom.
you. They just like throw spaghetti and like take shits on each other. That's like all those movies are, and then they like throw up.
And you're like, Thora Birch. Why aren't you in one of
Unfortunately,
those?
like she just does look like it. Fans of those movies will know what I'm talking about. But that's all I have to say about
There's
this.
fans
first
of
section.
that.
fan of those movies.
So this is just sounds like where the premise of Bratz dolls came from.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
I think the director's name of those movies is Lucifer Cronkite or something like that.
Oh,
Cool.
that's
Lucifer
cool.
Valentine.
That's perfect.
That's what it is. Anyway, we can talk
Cronkite.
about this.
It's a
movie.
great, but like, on second watch though, I don't like that they start off with that.
I don't either at all.
It's actually so unnecessary for them to literally just start on the bleep, 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 bleep. Hi, I'm Lester Burnham.
Because as we'll get to, there was a significant amount of this movie that was cut out.
Yes.
We don't have to talk about it now, but like it's implied that the only reason for this scene to be here is to trick the audience into thinking Ricky is the killer.
Maybe
towards the
Ricky
end.
did
But
it.
it literally never did that to me. Like even on first watch, I was like, I don't know who did it, but like I didn't go, oh, it could be anybody. I didn't care. I was invested in the moment that he dies, not in like who done it.
Right.
It's not a who done it movie.
Yeah,
to me,
that's a
but
good
they
point.
kind of want it to be.
That's
but
what I'm
it's
saying.
not.
Yeah.
Because didn't they apparently? It was the movie's supposed to end with Ricky and Janie like going to jail.
It's supposed to start with a trial and end with a trial.
Yeah, I'm glad that they didn't do that,
They
but they
filmed
also thank God.
Yeah.
But I also wish they would have just started right on Lester Burnham.
Same.
It
Yeah.
is. Maybe it is just worth talking about right now because we're gonna get to the end of this and probably just be like, "What the fuck ever."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just,
Yeah,
I'm just saying because I do think I read that too, and I thought to myself, I don't know how much more I would have necessarily liked that, but you would have given the context to why we get to see this video from Ricky that Ricky made. Because you're right, it doesn't add necessarily context. I don't think, right?
No.
I mean, we get enough context that Ricky makes videos. We get enough context that they don't have a great relationship inside the household of Lester's household. We get all that fast enough. So it doesn't really play out much. And you're right. It was supposed to be this idea. It's going to start with a trial or start with this video and how they're on trial for his murder.
He even says, and within a year, I'll be dead.
Yeah.
And then you completely just forget about it.
Yeah. That was
And that's-
impactful enough.
And that's impactful enough.
Yeah.
The fact that he goes in a year. And if you want to be that guy that's like looking for the twist in an M. Night Shyamalan, like, I found it. I already know what's going on here. Then go ahead, go fuck yourself. You can remember that he dies at some point. But every time or the first time I watched it, I just let that go out of my brain.
Yeah.
And I just enjoyed what was happening in front of me. So that's all they needed.
Oh yeah. I mean, it'd be a totally different movie if they had those two bookends.
Yeah.
It would have been a bad movie. Actually,
Yes.
it would have like ruined the entire point of the movie.
I think you're right because, like I say, well, let's just do what they did in the movie. You know, they tell you the end altogether. In a year, I'll be dead. So it's like, okay, I like that aspect because it creates this. Once we finally get there, it creates this like, oh, I hope this isn't it. You know, it creates that you don't want it to happen, even though you know it's going to happen feeling. The other alternative was like very bleak, and the kids were going to jail, and the kid, like, they were convicted, and the mom, like Ricky's mom, is like even finds the bloody clothes, but even helps cover it up.
And
It's just like,
just end it the way you
it's like,
did.
no, just end it the way I'm glad they did. So
I like
yeah.
it. And we're skipping ahead, but I like in the fact that it ends from Lester's point of view. Like,
It has to.
it's over.
Yeah, I
he
mean-
doesn't know what happens after this because he's dead.
I'm glad you brought that up because if they did, like, and we can get past this after this, or if you guys have
Who
more to
cares?
say, but if they did include the trial in the beginning, and there would have been like a whole narrative and everything. I don't know if he would be doing voiceover over it.
Yeah.
Because it's his like trial of his murder technically.
Yeah.
And so, but like if they didn't, and then they switched to it, it'd be like, what the like what?
Yeah.
Like that
Yeah.
now there's voiceover. Now it's Lester's movie because that makes it seem like it's Jane and Ricky's
Yes.
movie. You know what I'm saying?
It would be the equivalent of like of a funeral scene at the beginning, and seeing like that picture, that memorial photo of him.
Yeah.
You know, the this photo, the nice photo of him at the funeral.
Yeah.
It would have been the equivalent of that, and then we would have heard him talking, and it would have been like, okay,
Yeah.
whatever.
It's just, and the reason I like this intro so much is that it's just he's such a great actor. His voiceover's so incredible. The dialogue's so great at portraying just how shitty his life is, and just that's me
Jerking off in the shower.
masturbating in the shower. This will be the high point of my day.
This will be the high point of my day. The monotone
I am correct.
narration is
Yeah.
so you're 100% right. It's the way he's explaining this. There's my street. There's my house. There's this, and actually, I'm doing a bad job because it's not.
It's too
he's-
inflective.
He's not bored. It's just monotone.
Yeah.
And there's a difference.
Him like switches to like he walks out of the house, he drops his briefcase, he just looks like an idiot. She clearly doesn't respect him. He's sleeping in the back when the car is driving to work. It's
Yeah.
just the fact that they're even carpooling anyway is just so sad.
Yeah.
Just everything about it is so fucking sad, and then it switches over to Lester just with this fake happiness at work. He's
Right.
like, well, could you tell him to give me a call when he gets back? Thank you. Yeah. Bye.
Lester, do you have a minute? For you, I have 5 minutes.
For you, Brad, I have 5.
And that's how good Kevin Spacey is he has this fake happiness and fake excitedness, and how quickly it goes away when he's in the office and he's like slouched over going, no, like,
Well,
dude,
yeah.
I've been here forever. Like, what are you talking about?
We
man?
automatically get the brilliance. I think this is my favorite part of this movie is the cinematography of it.
I go ahead.
Especially in this, as they establish, and this is kind of 101 if you're just having
Yeah.
a character who's going to go through a journey. But the way they shoot it, and the way the sound mix even is, where once he's in this office, it's a huge wide shot, and he's directly in the middle of the only chair, and his
There's a lot
clothes
of
And looking
solo
down on
chair
him even a
shots.
little bit.
His clothes are bigger than they should be. They get tighter throughout the movie. And you're right. He's kind of slouched. It's just like, it's the perfect visual representation of this guy is in the dumps.
And then in this office, as he's in, or were you talking about at his desk or in Brad's office?
Brad's office.
Okay. And then you do the flip side and you see the shot of Brad.
Right. Yep.
And
Brad's up
Brad
on top
is
of his desk, sort of.
looking down on you.
Yes.
It's like this it's a more intimidating
Yep.
figure. He's much bigger in the frame. You're right, Sean. It's a 101, but it's so necessary.
Yeah, but what kind of threw me off is that in that wide shot, they're like just using the audio from the camera, or just like using the boom mic over here.
It's
and
like he's a ways away.
not like a lot of it. It sounds like you can hear the echo of his voice in the room, and it's just like you're almost like looking for him, and like
know.
trying to find him,
God, even on that
It's like
cinematography.
$50,000 when he bought a hooker. It's like somebody's fucking salary, Brad.
And even like then they immediately switch to they're at home now, and that really slow zoom in on the dining room table.
and they're really not in frame much as a family
No,
throughout this whole
other
movie.
than maybe that.
That and like
Good point.
and then when they are, there's like points of like hierarchy, because Jane, like when they leave for school, Jane is sitting in the car and Carolyn is standing up, and then they're yelling at Jesus Christ. Dad.
Yeah, Lester.
Yeah, they're yelling at Lester. It's like rarely are they in frame, but what if when they are, they're completely juxtaposed from one another. They're never like equal.
It seems like a real consistent theme throughout, like if the filming, the cinematography, if you will, and just through the movie. It's a hierarchy. It's a play on hierarchy constantly throughout this entire film. It just seems to be a constant battle of who's in charge in any given moment. I don't know.
We're so quick nowadays, at least I am, to just blame social media and cell phones for like fucking up everybody's relationships. Like, oh man, no relationships don't stand a chance anymore because we got all this distractions. But it's such a great reminder that like shitty households have existed throughout time. Like it doesn't matter that there's not cell phones and social media. There's just a bad dynamic that these two have not been able to fix.
Right.
And it's only festered and gotten worse. And it's so sad, but it's just been happening forever. There are families and relationships like this all over the world.
They're all on autopilot, and as Lester says, just sedated, and they're so used to being this way. Is like because none of that conversation will come through, even if they try to bring it up.
It's too far.
And they don't want to deal with it.
Yes.
Like they all have their thing that they're trying to do.
You're so they're just at this point, like this family is at this point. They're so in the weeds of what I like to call suburbia hell, that it's if you try to get out, it will there's no way to have the walls kind of cave in on you at the same time. Like and we get to a little bit later, like with the couch, or just the stuff, right? It's like their world has just become this the tomb of comfort, essentially, is what it is.
Even though all of them hate it.
And they all hate
like,
it.
Well, whatever. That's what you're supposed to do, I guess.
Yeah. It's just, that's a great way to put it. It's just what you're supposed to do.
Nobody likes it. Like, we learn that Carolyn never used to be this way. Like,
right.
I won't even say how or who, but I know a couple that I've heard from the husband many times to say, oh man, like, she used to be so fun. Like we used to go crazy and party all the time, and then like it just switched. And maybe there's some unhappiness there that you can pick up on that feels this way, because we know Carolyn used to be the shit. Like Carolyn now she just all she cares about is pruning her garden, because if her garden doesn't look good, then people are going to judge her.
Oh, it's totally the facade of the life that she wants, or the life that she thinks she should have.
I think it's a really good analogy for it, because that's the first thing that you see out there. It's like her rose bushes and the stuff that's out front.
Matching shears and clogs.
Yeah, and the way it looks very put together out there. And maybe even the house looks very well put together.
And the fake conversations with neighbors.
Yeah. Oh my God.
It's just the word with the gyms. Like, tell me how you did that. Well, see, this is what we did. It's like, neither of them care.
Miracle Grow and eggshells. I've never heard of that.
Now you have.
Oh my God.
Nobody cares, but yet you have to pretend like you care.
Yeah.
And and I've said this 100 times. I know that. And it's not like I have really great neighbors, right? Personally. But at the same time, like, I'm still in that mode of like, I'm not a lawn care guy. I'm not a green thumb person. I finally tore out this like old bush that was like not an overgrown bush thing that was like out front. Finally did something about it, because it was finally irked me to that point. But that's the thing, is like it irks me because it's a thing out front that people see. And then it's like a judgment thing. And you're just like, I better just deal with it. And it's the same thing. It's like, if she let her rose bushes just go to hell, like, people are going to be like, well, geez,
what
what's
happened
going
to
on
Carolyn?
with Carolyn? Is she
Actually,
okay?
Turns out
sick,
Carolyn's
or?
actually better than she's ever been now, because she's not worried about rose bushes.
Yeah.
But you think she's not, because her rose bushes don't look good.
Yeah, and not worried about making this whole like candles and turning on fucking guy
Burt Bacharach
in the background,
whatever.
And having this immaculate dinner for her family, where they would be fine with just having like ramen for a night and sitting on the fucking couch watch TV or something like that. But she's got to have it like this, because
I saw this in
that's
a movie,
the way her family is in her head,
Yes.
not like how they actually are.
Not how they actually are. I remember, like, you were talking about, like, cell phones did this, and
That was
I
it.
remember
Video
seeing-
games.
There's like, it was like the same thing about like people just. This generation just doesn't want to work anymore. And then like I saw this thing that came out, and it's just like going back, like newspaper articles back. It's like, 1991. It's like
Younger generation.
it's like nobody wants to work. Everybody wants to do their own thing. And then it goes like 1983, and it's like, this generation just doesn't even know what work is. 1960. Nobody wants to work. 1923. Nobody's working anymore in the factory factories and everybody wants a 5-day work week. And it's just like
1639. Nobody wants to go gather any things. Nobody wants to
They
go
only hunt. They
for their
don't
food.
gather.
oh, we all want the hunting credibility, but nobody wants to gather. It's the same idea, man. It's like, and that's my biggest thing is like, you're right. There's this big facade, and like you said, Sean, it's how Carolyn's family is supposed to be, not how it actually is.
And she even says it out loud later. Well, she gets a sentiment from Peter Gallagher's character where she's, you have to, what's he say? You have to present yourself in a certain way if you want to be that way. Yeah.
Like the fake it till you make it sentiment, which is I don't agree with. But
Well, Mike, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Whenever you walk into a house that you're trying to sell, do you have this mantra? I will sell this house.
Guys,
I will sell this house.
You get to your negligee and you vacuum and dust and
no, I don't.
No, you're not in your boxers and like
I haven't done
tank
an open
top?
house in like 8 years.
I know you haven't.
But listen, this scene is mandatory realtor watching.
Okay.
In fact, I went to two classes that I took when I got my license 15, 16 years ago. They played this clip.
Really?
Just because it's just so relatable to anyone who's ever been in the business. Like the way I feel like this scene is what got her nominated for an Oscar. Okay. I truthfully believe it because she does it so well. She shines here. Her like falsifying the information. They're like, I was told this was lagoon. Like, well, what do you call this? What do you call this? Huh?
There's more plants.
There's no plant. Is this not a plant? Huh?
Or I can call my landscaping architect guy.
Yeah,
you can come right on over. She just plays it so well. Like I know so many agents like this that will that will go out of their way to just be like, this is it. I'm going to sell this house. Like, no, you're fucking not.
Talk about charm in this kitchen or whatever. Like warmth and
it's and again, she's like pretending like this is what a realtor's supposed to be like. And by the way, did you see the cost on this house?
No,
I didn't see it.
$98,000 gets you the house on a quiet cul-de-sac, 3 beds, 2 baths, new kitchen, and a fucking lagoon-like pool.
And an in-ground pool.
Well, that'll never happen ever again.
Never.
Ever again.
Don't worry, man. The Fed said that it's coming down. So
don't worry, man. Rates are coming down.
We're all going to live in 1-bedroom high-rises by 2070.
It's going to be Ready Player One throughout the whole.
Hey, landlords, am I right? Fuck those guys.
Yeah, dude.
Just absolute blood-sucking pigs.
And let me tell you about the traffic on the way over here.
Yeah. Ooh,
here's a prop.
All right, listen, I want, this is the funniest thing to me. Maybe it's a realtor thing, but I want the for sale sign who's the other, Buddy
King.
Okay, I want the Buddy King for sale sign because did you see all the verbiage on it?
No.
At the bottom.
I just see her wave at it. Yeah.
At the bottom, underneath him, it says call me, but it's in quotations, meaning like that's his tagline, call me. Like it just says call me in quotations. Call me. You know me. My tagline is call me.
I think
no number.
Doesn't he says it later to her too.
Call my secretary.
He's like, call me.
I just think it's so fucking great, and if I can't have a sign, I want his eyebrows.
Okay.
That's what I want.
My wife has a huge crush on Peter Gallagher.
Didn't they grade him out on purpose for this movie? I heard.
Grade him?
At this point,
the hair and like he wasn't gray.
Oh yeah, I don't think so. Because
No.
like when he was on what's the fucking show? The OC.
Yeah,
He was pretty foxy.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna take Ricky's camera.
Damn it.
Because I like the mini DV cameras. I have like stacks and stacks and stacks of mini DV cameras from like middle school to high school and like a little bit of college, and I have no way of watching them. Like I have to have a mini DV camera.
Well, Nick Mad also wants Ricky Fitt's camera so he can smash it in front of him. and I agree. Hey, thanks for the camera.
Wow.
What if I took it from him, Nick Mad, and I gently punched it?
Yeah, that works. Good enough.
Okay.
That's not bad.
What are you taking, AJ?
Well, I want to take. Jeez, I wanted the camera too.
You can
I
have
should have freaking known. It's fine. Whatever. No, I want I want his video collection.
Cool, because then that ensures your friendship for the rest of your life.
Correct, because you
Sean
can only
wants to
play
watch videos.
I can only play it on yours, and what else are you gonna fucking do?
Can I, AJ? Can I watch 9, 10, 15, please?
No, but you can watch 9, 10, 14.
All right.
9, 10, 15 is just for me.
Okay. A couple more visual motifs in this before we move on is when she is in the house trying to sell it, and she's freaking out and like, dude, stop, quit crying, you baby. The blinds look like jail bars, or like, you know. And then earlier on, when Lester is at his computer, all of the coding or whatever he's doing, the lines and the reflection of him in the computer looks like jail bars. Cool visual touches to get this going.
They're in their own personal hell.
Yeah.
Their own personal prison.
Yeah.
They've locked themselves into this life.
Yeah.
Is essentially what it has done. Got it.
Creating my own prison.
You'll listen to our Human Clay episode. I don't think that song is on it.
It's
but
nope, it's on My Own Prison.
Scene 2. One evening during a cheerleading routine at a school basketball game, Lester becomes infatuated with his daughter Jane's friend, Angela Hayes. He starts having sexual fantasies about her. We meet Ricky's parents as the gay couple next door brings a welcoming gift. Jane begins to like Ricky after some encounters at school. Carolyn brings Lester to a real estate party. Lester gets drunk and high with Ricky out back while Carolyn flirts with real estate rival Buddy Kane.
Buddy Kane.
Is this maybe the most iconic moment of the movie that you think of? The rose petals and the basketball gym clearing out, and it's just fucking, dude, cinematography of this, where that gym clears out and it's just Lester in the top back left of the screen with a spotlight down on him and an empty bleacher. The rose petal stuff, that's what I think about when I think about this movie.
Yeah.
It was ingrained in the pop culture aspect of it.
Yeah, I think you're definitely right. I mean, it's the cover of the movie. Oh, some of the covers of the movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it is the sort of leading motif throughout the whole movie of roses, or just the color red. You know, that's completely prominent throughout this whole thing. And yeah, I mean, why not? Like, if you're gonna have like an eye bug, like an ear bug, or like a earworm to your eye worm, would be this bright red, and especially Mina Suvari's body.
Yeah. Did you read the title of the film refers to a breed of roses that, while pretty and appealing in appearance, is often prone to rot underneath at the roots and branches of the plant. Thus, the tagline, "Look Closer," tells the viewer that when they look beyond the perfect suburban life, they will find something rancid at the root.
I'd like to think that like when people saw this, like walking by, going into a movie that they bought that wasn't this one, like this wasn't out yet, but they saw the movie poster of like coming soon, you know, American Beauty,
American movie graffiti beauty,
and and the tagline is "Look Closer," and you're just like,
hey, I don't have my glasses. What
is
am
it? Is it one of those where you gotta go cross-eyed?
The 3D ones?
Is it one of them
the time
3Ds?
frame of it.
Is there a sailboat I'm missing?
I just don't see it.
My grandson says he sees it. I don't buy it.
No.
He said he saw this movie, but I just don't get it. This is one of those moments that nowadays would bounce on the like on the fence of cliche, but this felt very original, like when you saw it back then. You know, like, do you feel the same way? I guess, like,
yeah. I mean,
for me, it's like okay, but I think this falls into the camp of like it's been parodied and it's been played on so many times that now we feel like it like watching it. If you haven't seen it in a while, it almost feels a little cliched. But then you realize, like, no, this is the thing. This is the thing. This is a very well thought out, very, very placed camera, you know, very put together scene.
Yeah. But the feeling that you're having is one that I have and I can't get past, which is, does this feel, what'd you say? Like Cliche. I unfortunately, and we'll reflect on this at the end of the episode, but I kind of feel like this movie's pretty dated. And
that might be a better term for it.
Watching it, I'm like, well, we're going to get to see all of our, introduced to all of our characters here. And once they're all introduced, I'm like, oh yeah, like he's the military guy. Obviously, you know, being in the military, that would fuck you up a little bit probably if you're like kind of a closeted gay guy, you know, that kind of stuff. If, you know, I could see Lester being this way, and Caroline's definitely has a facade of this life and everything. And then that's where it ends.
You meant like it was meant to be more shocking back in the day, but nowadays it's like, oh yeah, of course that guy's kind of fucked up, you know, like.
I don't think it was supposed to be meant to be more shocking. I think it was
just wasn't. It's okay, man. You're allowed to have these feelings.
It's pretty surface level stuff.
Yeah, okay.
For me, and it does not go any deeper throughout the entire movie.
It's like this whole movie just doesn't know what it is. It doesn't know if it's satire. It doesn't know if it's shocking. It doesn't know if it's a drama. Even the subtle things they're trying to tell you, like the American Beauty thing, like nobody fucking knows a brand of roses that's called American Beauty. That, oh, did you know that the root is like gross, but nobody knows that. Even the Jim and Jim couple, like, I like this, but also it doesn't do anything. They were deliberately depicted as the most normal, happy, boring couple of the film, you know, which is the thought is that there's a bland, boring homosexual group of men here where the rest of everybody's all fucked up, and then it's like you just have this shocking gay couple who's totally normal. Like it's I love the sentiment of it, but it's just like. It doesn't do anything for the movie.
It's just the sentiment.
It's the sentiment. It doesn't actually make you go, oh,
yeah.
Can you believe it?
It doesn't
They're
the whole movie doesn't go any further on this on the whole motif that it's introducing.
Yes,
and it's unfortunate.
I think I kind of read or like kind of it's like they're supposed to be the most normal ones in the neighborhood essentially, and it's kind of like if it is a fun play, it's like maybe they're just the ones who are like the most honest with themselves.
Maybe they just actually love each other,
and they're just actually like they do love each other and their lives, and they're just like, yeah, this is fucking fun.
It's because they don't have kids.
Oh, that's
exactly what it is. It all goes downhill from there,
work out
guys.
and have great fucking sex.
Yeah,
like what you can't get any better.
Why are we mad here?
I guess. And they have a dog that they like. That's the worst part of their day is like, Pookie, oh, you're barking a lot.
Come on.
Dang it. And yeah, you're right. I mean, if I was married to Scott Bakula too, I wouldn't be upset.
Yeah.
So dang it.
You know what though, Sean? Like, man, it's weird how I've thought differently about this movie from the first time. I
was interested in this because I thought when I was going to bring this up, you're going to
No. I actually I'm on board with it. But there are some things that are better for me than they were. Mina Suvari, I was like, get her the fuck out of this movie. She sucks. She's just weird looking.
When you first watched it?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
This time around, she's maybe my favorite character.
Yeah.
And I like they try to make her seem like this just dumbass girl and like, oh, she's so dumb. She lied about having sex. It's like, but no, she's maybe the most real character in this movie of going through the peer pressures of high school and like that scene where like Ricky comes over at school and they're smoking against the wall. Well, first of all, the two girls are there and she goes, cunt. like I just love that. But then when Ricky comes
and you
over,
looked fat in that issue or whatever.
You were only in 17 once
and you were fat.
You looked fat.
But Ricky comes over and talks to Janie. And Jenny leaves, and she goes, he didn't even look at me once.
Something's really wrong with him. It's like comic relief.
You hate the character, yes, of course, but like she's so good in this. She's so good. In fact, she blows Wes Bentley and Thora Birch out of the water. I was a little disappointed with Thora Birch's acting in this movie.
I was too.
I was a little disappointed with Thora Birch. Not necessarily Wes Bentley, but I
his
think
character just sucks.
His character. Well, because you're 42 now, not 18, Mike.
Like, this piece of shit. It's a plastic bag. It's a plastic bag, you piece of shit.
Oh
Go
my
back
God.
to work.
How much did you spend on that cassette?
Oh my God.
How much did you spend?
Oh, you're crying now? You're crying.
Do you know how much money is sitting?
Wait till you pay taxes, you piece of shit.
You don't even pay taxes
anymore,
on your
man.
drug money.
Move out if you're so rich, you piece of shit.
Let's just say that at this point in time, right? Well, let me finish the thought first.
Can I keep yelling?
I still like Wes Bentley in this. Thora Birch, totally understand, but I think that Wes Bentley is right up there with her.
Yes.
So that being said, let's we haven't talked about Ricky Fitz a ton yet.
Well, we're just getting introduced to him now, I think, kind of.
He's just coming in.
Yeah.
And so like let's think about his like in his room, right? Burp. He like we're talking here like, okay. He's got this like room of cassettes, and like back then, like this is 1999. He has this nice video camera.
Ooh.
That's like a compact video camera.
That probably cost $1,000.
That was like a grand and a half.
The reason I want it is the digital zoom on that
Fucking
thing.
A.
Holy shit, he can
Yeah.
get close.
It was that
That's
little bar on the top, probably, that goes back and forth.
That's a
Yep.
Carl Zeiss, his lens right there,
Yeah,
baby.
man.
Yeah, you know it. What was that Sony? Damn.
Yeah, dude.
But then we've got this wall of cassettes, right? One of those cassettes probably costs like $6, $7, $8, and he's got hundreds of them. That guy's room is worth like thousands of dollars.
I think it's worth more than our studio.
And he's fucking wasting these on plastic bags. What a dick.
He's
All
not
right.
a very good like film guy, like
Are you making a movie out of all this?
no.
No.
No, I just
I just like to film dead birds. My neighbor naked weightlifting,
And then,
the usual. Frozen homeless ladies.
Oh, I filmed a homeless dead person.
Whoa,
a dead
cool.
homeless person.
Awesome.
Can I see it? No.
Why'd you do that? Well, I just thought it was beautiful. It's inherently not.
It's
like
not.
that sounds ugly as hell.
Yeah.
Actually, it sounds like it's actually very disrespectful.
It was like God was staring right back at me. You're an idiot.
Yeah, you're.
So why did you film them?
But okay,
Let's have a real conversation.
You know where where the character of Ricky Fitz in general shines for me though is they get to this realtor party.
Yeah.
And when him and Kevin Spacey are in the backyard or in the back lot smoking,
Yeah.
man, this might be my favorite like moment of the film. Like
Yeah.
when he goes, "Hey, honey, this is Ricky Fitz. This is Ricky Fitz." She goes, "Well, we got to get going. Come on." He goes, "I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble." And he's like genuinely, Wes Bentley's like laughing. You
Yeah.
can tell it's not acting. He's like having a good time with this. And he goes, Kevin Spacey's like, "Thanks for the thing." And he goes through the door. Like, that's where I really like Wes Bentley in the character of Ricky. The rest of it's just too weird for me nowadays. I just can't. get past that.
Obviously his free-going nature of everything and why Lester kind of more or less falls in love with him as like a almost
Completely.
mentor, really, at this point. Yeah, that's infectious. Like when his boss comes out, I was like, "You're supposed to be in here." I was like, "Well, don't pay me then.
So don't pay me.
I just fucking quit. Leave me alone." Like that's awesome.
Yeah,
You know?
it's the rebellion that Lester wants, and like getting to watch Ricky in that environment. Like Ricky plays this very straight 80% of the time. You're right.
More
it
than
is.
that.
Think so?
Yeah.
It's the moments when we really see him like kind of let go is when we really like. I think I agree. I do really like him.
Do you think he got this job just so he could talk to Lester, or do you think he already had this job?
I think he already
I
had
think
it.
he already had it.
Okay.
But I think that he sees him.
And he's like, "Cool, I'm going to make my move. I want to introduce myself." If this moment doesn't happen, this movie doesn't happen because this is pretty much the catalyst of the movie. He meets Ricky Fitz. He sees Ricky Fitz quit his job. And that sticks in his brain because then that is what empowers him to maybe move forward and then quit his job. Then if they don't know each other, he doesn't buy weed from him, which then doesn't let dad see this happen.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's crazy how this little moment in the movie changes everything. This little moment kills Lester Burnham.
Yeah, I think definitely
Yeah.
kills him. I think, but like his change happens actually. Obviously, when he sees Jesus Christ, Janie's friend. I had it. It's in my head.
Angela.
When he sees her and just kind of switches and is like, "Well, now my mission in life is to fucking underage."
It's like it's one of those things that it's. I mean, it's midlife crisis, right?
Yeah,
like this is really what we're getting. It's like what the movie is getting at, and it's like what sparks this midlife crisis. Like you're lack of intimacy, like your mundanity day to day, like just doing the same shit over and over again, getting fed up with like the zero respect that anyone has for him or he has for himself. It's just like, it's one of those things that any of these really could be kind of called the catalyst, I think.
Yeah.
Like, I think really any of them really could be. Shit, jerking off in the shower could be the catalyst at this point. He was just tired of it.
Tired of it. Can we talk a little bit about Ricky Fitz's parents here?
Yes, please.
This is interesting to me. Like Colonel Fitz is such a complex character, and who plays him?
Chris Cooper.
Chris Cooper did an incredible job at this because like that's a hard thing to convey, because even those moments where he comes in to ask Ricky about the piss test, and like you can tell he wants to like connect with Ricky. That's where he kind of said, son, have a good night.
Mm-hmm.
Like
He tried to be emotional with him just then, but he just can't.
And it's it's a this whole movie's a reminder in like, don't wait to like bond with your kids. Don't wait to change. If you're in a rut with your wife or your husband, don't wait to end it. Just end it. Like, I mean, like the sooner you end these stupid things, the better on you can move them. Because like it's impossible now for them to have a normal relationship.
Oh yeah,
it's never
by
gonna
the end
happen.
of this. You mean
pretty much everyone in this movie will never be able to have a normal relationship with their parents, their spouses, their kids. It's gone on too long. And I love the way he plays it, man. He's so good at it. And then mom, like, what's wrong with mom?
Yeah, I mean, I think military man runs his house like a drill sergeant.
Yeah.
And she's just really not a person anymore. Like they break you down in boot camp.
Do you think it's physical too? It has to be, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's got to be. I mean, we know it's physical between him and Ricky. So
that's not the first time he came in and hit him, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, if like that's the thing. Like that's a pattern. That's not something that just probably happens between him and
this
Ricky.
Was 18 years of just like mental and physical abuse.
Yeah.
How long has it been? How old is Ricky? What, 16?
He's 18.
He is 18?
Yeah.
So he's 18, and...
So I guess I can legally beat on him.
Well, it's... but you're like, you can't think like that started with Ricky. Like or it is just the fact that mom is just in this point of sedation of probably a drug induced of some kind.
Do you think?
I bet there's some. It makes it feel that way because of how disconnected she is.
I don't know.
So she's sitting there at that table and just being like, "I'm sorry for the way." I'm sorry for the way.
I think
she's completely disconnected.
She's just literally driven crazy.
You think so?
Maybe not drugs. I think she's literally just like, as soon as Ricky
it's like
came,
a Xanax thing to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
as soon as Ricky came out of her, I bet Colonel took the baby and like didn't let the mom see it or whatever at all.
Weird.
Like something like that, where he's just like, well, this is my son. Like if I have a son, he's going to be exactly like me, and he's gonna have discipline and grow up in the
I'll
Marines.
handle this from
yeah.
here.
Yeah.
I'll
Thanks
handle
for
this.
birthing it.
He doesn't need a mother. He doesn't need a touch of a mother.
Boys.
He needs to be hard man.
Right.
He needs hard men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Even dude, but that's the cinematography choices again. The choice to have that shot going back on them when they're watching TV.
Yeah.
And the fact that Colonel Fitz sits in the middle of the couch and she sits right next to him to the side. Like he could easily go to the other side of the armchair, but that's like, I sit in the middle.
Yeah.
I'm the head of the household. Just those subtle touches are.
And you say
It's an imposing figure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
say I really do. Chris Cooper is one of my favorite actors, to be honest. I love him.
I agree with
but
you.
you say he's a complicated character, and I do agree with you somewhat, but I push back a little and say that like, yeah. So my thing is, I think he's he was in the military and maybe like had like a little maybe a
He
sexual.
was in the Marine Corps.
Yeah, sorry, Marine Corps, and had like maybe a little sexual experience with a guy, and that's kind of where he like felt really himself. But also the military breaks you down so much that you shouldn't be yourself. You got to be a Marine and not Colonel whatever his name is. You have to be this way. You can't
Frank
be
Fitz.
yourself. Frank Fitz.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, cool, yeah, I get all that. Like, yeah, I guess that it makes sense for this character. So what are you gonna do with it?
Yeah.
They just don't do anything with these
Correct,
things. Like
yeah.
they bring up the notion, but they don't go further with it.
Yeah, you're right. Like they give you that, and you're like, okay, cool. So okay, and then they just don't.
It is like a friend sitting you down saying like, dude, I did something really cool, and it's like it meant a lot to me, and I really want to tell you about it. You know, I want to tell you. Okay, cool. What's up? Oh, I forgot. Like it's just
I'll
like,
tell
you
you
know what?
later,
Like
maybe.
I'm so in on these notions
Yeah.
that they're bringing up. It's just they just like I said, just unfortunately just don't do anything with it for me.
There is the moment there too. I know. Just kind of thinking about this. The moment in the car with Ricky though too.
Right after the Jims came over,
Yeah.
which is a great interaction. So what
Yeah,
do
or
you said
hey,
partner?
we're
What do you
your
say? What's your
neighbor.
business?
Oh,
What's your
yeah.
business? You know.
And then that cut to them in the car.
Yeah.
And then it's like the ongoing, like over the top hate of it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It almost seems performative.
Correct.
By like even as the character.
Maybe I'll ask the question like as we get closer to the end of this. Maybe yeah. Probably, I think it's like more near like scene 4 or 5. So I'll wait on this actually.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, let's go on to scene 3. So Lester starts exercising at home after overhearing Angela tell Jane that she would sleep with him. He's also caught fantasizing by Carolyn. Lester buys pot from Ricky and then quits his job and blackmails his boss. He gets a menial job at a fast food restaurant called Mr. Smiles, I think it is.
Smiley.
Mr. Smiley's.
Mr. Smiley. Carolyn is not happy with Lester, but meanwhile, she has begun an affair with Buddy. Ricky walks home with Jane and opens up to her about some videos he's recorded and his life. Do you think it's a weird that Ricky puts a card in his weed with his beeper number on there? You think that's probably one of the things you don't want to do as a drug dealer?
I feel like that's pretty presumptuous.
Yeah, to say that no one's going to get a hold of this and,
Yeah.
and call me as the cops kind of a thing?
Yeah, like what if it beeps it? Like you just get a beep all of a sudden from, oh shoot, lost my card, and you get a beep. It's like, oh, I've got to run this book over to John's house. Turns out John's house is actually just staked out at the cops.
That's what I'm saying, man.
Like it is. It's like, man, that's quite the enterprise you got going at 1999.
Yes.
That's the age of the beeper. His business, if he wouldn't have gotten out, would have been over in 2001. So
Yeah. I wonder if you guys felt the same way as I did. This is where the movie was completely different for me the second time around, where I liked parts that maybe I didn't care about last time, or I felt differently about a character when he goes into his room, they lock the door and he's trying to buy weed for the first time. He says, man, when I was your age, I had to flip burgers all summer just to buy an 8-track. And Ricky Fitz goes, that sucks. And he goes, no, actually, it was great. All I did was party and get laid. I had my whole life in front of me. And like that hits a little bit harder more as an adult, of that idea that you blink and life has passed by and the simple times of being young are gone. But it just shows how different the youth is, because Ricky just doesn't understand. He's like, cool story, man. Anyway, this is all I smoke. This is the good weed. I love that they made Ricky say that sucks.
Yeah.
Like he didn't understand it.
he doesn't get it.
And he still didn't even care what he had to say after that, when he was trying to have a heartfelt moment about his life. And Ricky's like, anyway, yeah, are you going to buy this or not?
Yeah.
I gotta go film a dead bird.
Ricky has an agenda, and it's selling weed and filming dead things, and
Yeah.
that's it. Like there is there like it made me wonder. First, it made me wonder if it just kind of shows the idea of like maybe Ricky is, and most of the kids in this movie are growing up too fast, forced to grow up too fast. You know, the idea that Ricky is just trying to sell weed and being like basically run an enterprise here. And then their daughter doesn't understand anything that's going on in life. And then Angela, she's trying to be a model already, essentially, moving on. She's pretending to be older than what she really is. So it made me think of that first. But then after that, it just kind of came back to the idea that, like, no, Ricky's just in a shit situation, you know? I couldn't I couldn't continue down that path. Thought track.
I think they all are. I think everyone's on their own in this movie.
Okay, that makes sense.
Every single character. You know, speaking of Jane, we're just like, you haven't talked to me in like months, so like, how would you know what the hell's going on? You know, that
Right.
I think that he hasn't talked to her really in months, and other than just like, hey, how was school? The menial bullshit, you know.
Right.
And everyone else is kind of on the same trajectory of just like, well, my wife won't fuck me, you know, like. It was better when I wanted a Firebird and when I worked at, flipping burgers or whatever.
I want the least amount of responsibility possible.
I just think that everyone's on their own in this movie. And obviously that's what and way too obviously, unfortunately for me, where it's just like, yeah, that's it though. Like everyone's stunted and trying to like be something that they're not. And then they need to learn to be okay with everything and see the beauty in the world. I got it. But that's life. No one appreciates it when they go through it.
And we all look back when we're older and be like, and I wish that I could watch this when I was 18 and be like, yeah, you know what? I am going to enjoy this. And like, no, you just don't. You just go on with your life. And then when you're 42, you go, that was awesome.
Yeah. But now you are where you're at.
But now I'm here and I can't go back.
And you have responsibilities and everything to deal with.
Yeah.
And like, that's what another thing about Lester is that he has a daughter still.
You could
maybe Caroline, maybe I could see saying like, fuck that.
He's going to try.
But you have a daughter
done,
still.
Yeah.
You have a responsibility. You have a house to pay for.
Nope.
You know.
He's going to lift weights, smoke weed, listen to classic rock, and try to fuck a 17-year-old.
Yeah.
Every interaction that Lester or Carolyn has with Jane after this point is always left in disappointment by them. It always ends in disappointment. They're disappointed in themselves of how they end the scenario. I did want to say this though too, and I hate saying obvious things, but at the same time when I realize them, I have to say them. So it's like the conversation we're talking about of him buying weed and his idea of beauty, like you were saying, Sean, is he worked a basic job of flipping burgers so he could party, get laid, buy an 8-track, and that was his idea of beauty. And Ricky nowadays at the same age, his idea of beauty is filming depressing shit. Dead things and plastic bags in the wind. Paper, not plastic, okay, guys? But it's just like that kind of juxtaposition, that difference of ideas in this movie. That's the saddest thing about it, maybe. And I'm just kind of realizing that now. It's like, used to be so simple, and Ricky's life is far from that simple.
Yeah,
of
true.
trying to get laid and have.
Ricky will say the same thing when he's 42.
But you're probably right.
But then,
it's
like,
just the cycle of life.
Lester, even like looking back on those times, he's like, you just want to be lazy. That's what you want to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he quits his
that's a
job
good
here,
point,
you know.
yeah.
He just doesn't want to work, and like he wants to make the minimal amount of money that
And
he can.
he does say, he's like, I
Yeah.
want the least amount of responsibility that I can get. He gets his severance. He kind of gets it. He kind of gets out of this like in that Fight Club way.
Dude,
Sure,
there
yeah.
must have been something going on culturally in 1999.
Yeah.
Because
There definitely was.
Dude, because think
yeah.
about the Fight Club aspect here of the blackmailing your boss to like get out of your job and get a
the
severance.
corporate
And then being happy about walking out of that place with the box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then think about even Office Space in 99 too. This sort of
100%.
efficiency meetings, like prove why you need to work here. We're starting to cut corners in our office. Like, holy shit, man. And none of these movies like knew that each other was going to be doing this.
Right.
They just did it.
They just did it.
It's just a sentiment of the late 90s, maybe.
And you have to think too, like the millennium was coming right around the corner as well for everyone. Where it's like, everything's going to shut down. But like even the notions of like Caroline with her things are really like owning herself. That's literally a line from Tyler Durden, you know.
Yeah.
Or but like another thing too is I will say that there are so many movies, so many like satirical kind of send up movies like American Beauty that are trying to say what American Beauty is saying, but they're doing it way better.
Yeah.
To be honest, the movies that came out in 1999, like Office Space and Fight Club, are and The Matrix, are doing it so much better.
Yeah.
Well, Sean, I'm kind of worried what I'm going to think about Fight Club. Fight Club was a flat out 10 for me.
Yeah.
but I haven't seen it in 15 years.
Yeah.
And I'm a little nervous it might feel a little bit like this movie does.
Maybe. I mean, like, Office Space, in those terms, I mean, is like, that is a satire.
Yes.
That is a comedy.
We knew what it was,
Yes.
and we went into it.
It was bold, underlined, you know.
Is this a satire, Sean?
I think so. I mean, I think it's trying to be. I think it's definitely saying, like, yes, this is they are very satirical characters, in my opinion. They're just very surface level. And those satirical characters in Office Space have way more depth to them.
The moment that car shows up in the driveway is when it becomes like a cliche to me. Like then it is the midlife crisis satire to me at that point, because that's the cliche. Midlife crisis, get the sports car, get the motorcycle, get the
I rule.
You know, get the dirt bike, get the thing, whatever it is, right? Whatever that, buy the new guitar, buy whatever it is, right? That's the cliche, and that's what makes it satire to me. The shiny, bright red Corvette
that
whatever.
might attract a 17-year-old.
Yeah, that thinks do you think it's cool?
Sean, let's keep talking about cinematography. I never noticed this back when I watched it. When he finally quits his job and he's the American Woman scene.
Mm-hmm.
It starts with a camera outside of the car looking at him while he's driving, and the most perfect shot of the reflection of big skyscrapers going past the window. Yeah. Just beautifully shot. Oh my God. It's just so perfect.
Really didn't notice that. That is beautiful. Even when he quits his job, he's walking and eventually going to like fist bump. He's walking behind like glass that's like very foggy. And then once he gets out from that fog, out from those windows, he just he does the fist bump.
He made it out.
The visual motifs are definitely there, and I do appreciate them. That's how subtly you should have told this story, though.
Do you think this was a nod to Big Lebowski at all? Like this is one of the best like smoking weed in a car scenes, just like the dude in Big Lebowski.
Yeah, true.
Like, apparently he improvised everything in the car.
There looked like a cop behind him too.
It did, man. I love seeing middle-aged guys smoking weed, listening to loud music in cars. I don't know what it is.
I'm with you.
Just there is something about there is something about shamelessly going through a drive-through, ordering a smiley double burger, fries, and an orange soda.
Yeah,
that icy orange from McDonald's. That is a good way.
I'm telling you, man. And you're just like, there is something about doing that shamelessly. Because you don't do that anymore. Like when you're 35 plus, maybe it's 30 plus now, whatever. The moment that you roll up to McDonald's and they're like, "Welcome back," you're like, I haven't fucking been here in a while. You know what I mean? So that's my. I just love the idea of doing it shamelessly, because not only the commitment to this man's midlife crisis is so deep. It's not just I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want. He's working out too. You know,
but he's doing the cancel. I used to do this in college, where you like work out for 2 hours and then go get 3 JBCs and chicken fingers.
I mean, yeah, dude.
Whoop! It's called the cancel rules.
He's gonna go back out, bench press. He's gonna rail his pecs until he's got
to move on to his back.
Yeah, he's moving on his back.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, like like the things that I'm saying sort of negatively about the film, I guess, but. I do like Kevin Spacey's performance a lot. Yeah. Like, it does carry the movie. It does. Really. I mean, obviously,
Annette Bening.
Yeah, like their performances carry this
too.
movie.
If it wasn't for those two, I don't think we're talking about this movie. I really don't.
And the cinematography,
of course. So let's talk about the bag scene and this whole hangout with Jane.
When they first get to the house, I have to say he's like, "Hey, check out this plate." Okay, cool. Turn it around, Nazi. Cool, huh?
Is this how you tell me you're a Nazi? You're a Nazi family? And this is why you have to move from like neighborhood to neighborhood?
Yeah. Notice how there were no black people in this neighborhood.
Yeah. I can't imagine what he'd do if there was.
Ugh.
Oh, no.
We didn't know the gays were here.
The gays were here.
Must be gay pride parade.
Oh, what is it? Your month or something? You gonna bring me a Jello mold and just tell me it's your month? I'm angry because I'm in the military. Like, what? It's cliche.
Yes.
You know, it's just cliches.
But this whole thing, this whole sentiment that Ricky's portraying, like, I'm watching this as an 18-year-old being like, you're right, dude. Like, there's so much beauty in the world and man, like funerals. Oh man, it's like beautiful, and this bag, like, can you believe it? There's a benevolent force doing this. It's like, that is how a lot of younger teens can feel.
Yeah.
And it does sum that up pretty well. But rewatching this, it's just like, oh my God. Is it supposed to be satirical? To be like, yeah, these kids, they just don't fucking know shit. Or is it supposed to be like this most beautiful thing that's going to change your life? I think it's supposed to be that, because the guy said that he saw a bag once and was like, oh my God.
Yeah, the writer did. Yeah, I think. Either that or Sam Mendes, the director.
I just like, it doesn't do it for me.
I think
in modern day world, I'm just like, fuck, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
I mean,
A benevolent force moving a bag? It's
like
called wind,
but like,
bro.
I know what you're talking about, but that's, yeah, no, I agree. Like, I see sometimes I get just stopped by like an image of like the sun is just perfect or whatever, whatever.
It's beautiful.
It's great. And then you sit, makes you sit and appreciate. I love those moments, but like a whole movie about it, like that's your whole philosophy.
I will say this, like, one of the things we don't probably give a lot of credit for, living in Iowa, we get some of like the greatest like sunset scenery stuff that ever happens. And there are times where it will like stop me when I'm on a drive, right? But there's also this point of like, I don't know, like thinking about your question on it, Mike, is that really, I think that maybe it's just a play. Like you say, a lot of 18-year-olds and like younger people do think that way. Sometimes the people that are like in Ricky's situation or Jane's situation, the way that they feel, that's what causes them to feel like there's got to be fucking beauty in something.
Yes.
Because I don't have it fucking anywhere.
It's a good
right
point.
now.
It's a good point.
And then you also have the idea, and I do think that this is a movie. That's why I give it, I'm giving it the credit that I think it deserves, is that I think that each generation identifies with the generation represented in the movie. I'm gonna probably be identifying more with Lester and maybe some of his revelations near the end of this movie. Yeah. For sure, more than I am with Ricky's plastic bag.
Fucking Ricky Fitz.
You know what I mean? So that's where I'm at with it.
I get what you're
you know?
saying. Yeah. And I mean, like, yeah, you look back on those days. Like, I listened to The Doors.
Yeah, like
come on, like
I used to think Jim Morrison's poetry was just the most amazing stuff
Exactly.
ever.
Exactly.
I remember thinking Brad Noel was like something
Oh my God.
to be like, whoa, I'm gonna be like Brad Noel, and it's just like you probably shouldn't.
Well,
it wasn't a good
In
situation.
fact, if there are any younger men listening to this and you want to try to get a girl, you don't tell her that the most beautiful thing you've ever seen is a plastic bag. Not you, Janie.
No.
Not your bags. Those bags.
and Katy Perry
are the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
Katy Perry took it over,
Yeah.
She do you ever feel like a plastic bag?
Oh God,
She took it. She
did.
took it from this movie. It's hers now. So
Thanks, Katie.
And not a rubber bag either. It's like
Silicone bags.
the
no, it's just a normal bag.
okay, like a condom. No,
Yeah, yeah.
I'll be remiss to not say there was an absolutely incredible band out of Kansas City called Ricky Fitz back in the early 2000s. Like,
I
what
feel
a
like
fucking
I
cool
heard
name.
that. I feel like
Yeah.
you brought that up. Sometime.
I probably did. Yeah.
Okay. I like to think that this scene, the visual, the actual footage of the bag, was like the harder shot to get.
I think that too. God damn it!
They took like
Fan number 4. Fan number 4.
one assistant to go out and be like, just look at like Walmart,
Weird spot.
look and see what you can do. And he's just like a plastic bag on the ground, just like
God damn it!
fucking Christ, Jesus fuck, this is gonna take forever. It like takes like 3 days for him to get this right.
I mean, they did it though. That's for sure.
It'd be so fucking hard to like put that together. Like they had to shoot it against that brick wall. It was probably a school. They shouldn't have been there. You know,
That's why it's so beautiful. You never see that shit, man. Benevolent forces.
benevolent forces, Mike.
Well, scene 4, Ricky's father abuses him after finding out he looked at his memorabilia. Lester discovers Carolyn's infidelity when she orders a meal with Buddy at Mr. Smiley's. Frank finds Ricky's recording of a nude Lester working out and becomes suspicious of their friendship, assuming they are sexually involved after spying on their drug session. He accuses Ricky of being gay and expels him from the house.
Don't touch my Hitler plate.
You know, there's a thought out
That's
there.
it.
There's a thought out there that like he didn't, because like how would he know he touched the plate? There's maybe a thought that like his mom did it. His mom was like cleaning and kind of fucked around and like took the key or something and moved something the wrong way. That like Ricky's a pretty careful dude.
He's got his.
I don't
mean,
see how Colonel Fitz is going to know he touched the
He
plate.
gets someone's piss every 6 months. Yeah, he's pretty careful.
He's pretty careful, dude.
We have to realize like he's probably got his dad down to a T.
Of course.
Because his dad is
a
so
structured.
regimented.
Yeah, he knows exactly where his dad is and what he's doing at every point of the day.
You're right, and it's like
He even says nobody. He's probably not going to come in the room because I have company over, and that's the proper way to do this. You
Right.
know, don't barge in. I have someone over.
right. It's like so. Yeah, his dad is so predictable because of his nature. So you're right. There has to be something else. I mean, other than the fact I don't know. Like there's still grease on Jane's fingers or something from that shitty dinner her mom made.
Well, I
don't
think
know.
maybe even just the presence of Jane throws Ricky off a little bit.
That's fair.
Ooh, he fucks up
Yeah.
because he
That's
normally
my
wouldn't
thinking.
have gotten the plate out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because he's just so excited to have someone he can fucking finally relate to. That's not like a drill sergeant in
He's
his
like,
fucking
dude,
house.
I
you know?
burned her name.
Everyone else
in
thinks
flames.
he's weird. Yeah,
I burned her name in flames in the yard, and she liked
and
it.
it worked.
She fucking liked it.
She was into that shit.
She was.
So I think we're gonna do a seance.
So I think we're
later.
gonna do
yeah.
it. Also, I'm 18 and she's 17, so it's pretty cool.
So
It's kind of like weirdly illegal. You know, it's like on the edge of being like kind of nasty.
Okay, listen. So Thora Birch was actually 17 in this.
It's kind of weird, right?
strange.
I don't understand. Number one, why you have to do the 2 nudity scenes in this movie. I don't quite understand why they need to be there, especially because they are fucking minors.
Yeah.
And her parents then had to be there, had to sign off on it. Apparently, Thora Birch's dad was like a porn star too back in the day, so that was even weirder. But like, is it okay? So help me out here. She was 17 when she showed her cans on TV on movies.
Oh no, they're there.
They're there. Why did she want a boob job anyway? Anyway,
Janie's got some big ass titties.
Anyway, but now listen, because Thora Birch is actually as old as I am. It's still not okay for me to see a 17-year-old on TV.
Like
It's
I
super
read
fucking
that.
weird.
I read that. And I'm like, what'd you just make me watch?
Yeah.
Right, like you can't watch like a 17-year-old in porn.
I was supposed to trust you.
That's what I'm saying. You can't watch a 17-year-old in porn because she's 20 now.
Yes.
You still can't do that.
Yeah.
So what? How did this happen?
Is this
And-
It's entrapment.
I feel like oh shit, and we're recorded. We said we watched this movie
Oh,
on
no.
tape.
Did you guys watch American Beauty? Yeah, we did. Oh, well, here they come.
You're gonna have to come with us.
Yeah.
Here they come,
Well,
'cause
I
you
already
came.
did.
Hey,
Hey-o.
you're coming with us
Oh.
because you came there.
Nope. There we go.
Okay.
That's okay.
But
no, we're okay with it.
This is jokes. This
No,
is satire.
This is actually satire.
We're not sure what the movie is, but
Look,
this
guys.
is satire.
Look, guys. This is art. Okay? So art makes it okay.
Okay.
Okay?
just jokes, folks,
We're just doing jokes.
as Rogan would say.
Movies are art. And so are Thora Birch's boobs.
Well, yeah.
Now that's
And,
American Beauty, if you ask me.
Yes.
I believe she defended this, saying that it was there was something about it that she said.
all she said was it made sense. It wasn't something that shouldn't be in there. It was something that would happen. It's like that doesn't.
Well, that doesn't even explain anything.
it doesn't
Thora
explain
Birch.
anything, Thora Birch. Go back to Hocus Pocus. God damn it! You weren't in
Go
Hocus
back to Binks.
The scene before this, the dinner scene, the second dinner scene,
Yeah.
where he throws a plate, I think is the best and most funny scene in the movie, in my opinion.
This is another moment.
It's just so witty and fast.
well. It's another moment of perfect Kevin Spacey
Yes.
improvisation. Like
because he just did that without them thinking.
yeah,
right?
he was supposed to just like slam it down on the table. Like he was supposed to like set it down hard or like put it down on the table hard. And then he goes around and gets the the plate of asparagus and is supposed to like set it down. And he fucking throws it against the wall. and shocks both of them.
Go back and watch Annette Bening and Thora Birch in that scene because they are shocked.
That is genuine.
Pure shock.
I saw an interview where he said it was in the script.
He did?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
But this was after all the bullshit with him.
Well, maybe
and it
it was in
very
the-
recent with Lex Friedman. That's what he said. It was in the script.
Maybe it was in the script. Maybe it was in his script.
Okay.
But,
yeah. Maybe
you know,
they
didn't
hid it
know.
from them. Yeah.
But like to them, it was like some sort of shock. It seems so. Their reaction seems so genuine.
I
Is
didn't
all I
notice.
can say.
I believe you, and I will go back and yeah.
Yeah.
He also apparently it was unscripted when he attacks her feet with like the remote control car.
Oh, yeah.
And like that's why she seems so annoyed that God damn it, I'm trying to act here.
Kevin
And
Spacey's
Kevin Spacey-
reaction
yes.
seems genuine.
It does.
That he's like,
I rule.
I
I
rule.
just love at the dinner scene where he's like, I quit my job and extorted my boss out of $60,000. Pass the asparagus. just rolling. It's the best performance comedically of the movie.
But
for
also,
sure.
why is Carolyn pissed?
just
They
cause
literally just got $60,000 for him to now like figure out another. You
because
got time.
he needs a job. Like if man's supposed to provide as well, you know.
He just did for the rest of the year.
No.
Nuclear family, man.
You're not supposed
Nuclear
to be doing.
family.
You're supposed to be doing what
Right.
I need to know where you are when you go to work. I need to know that you're at work. I can't have you at home working out and doing all this
Yeah.
shit.
I can't have you at home bettering yourself.
Yeah.
No.
Come on.
No.
Don't do that. No, if I'm going to be putting myself through the 9 to 5 or realtor life or what have you, I need you to be miserable during the day as well. That's it.
It's on the schedule.
It's not a schedule. I agree with you. Why are you pissed? Now she's the only breadwinner. Another term that is nuclear family.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Breadwinner is
Who
like,
cares how the money comes in as long as we have it? I don't care if you brought it or I brought it. We
Yeah.
got it. That's
Right.
great. That's all that I care about.
I know.
Yeah, this whole thing, I love the interaction, like the affair that she has. And
Yeah.
like how maybe genuinely happy maybe she is now.
You like
that
getting
she's
railed by
having-
the king?
Yeah. That was apparently them, actually, both of them. It was not sun doubles, like in the bed.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, which
Hell
is
yeah.
awesome. But like just how genuinely, annoyingly happy Annette Bening's character is during this. And you don't even know if she's really happy because she's just so annoying of a
Yeah.
character. Oh, God. Oh, my God. Wow, I needed that.
Man.
Yeah. You don't actually know if she's genuinely happy in this moment or if this is just her pretending to be happy so that she can be with Buddy.
Oh, she's
you know?
finally feeling something.
She's feeling something.
but also
She got that post-nut clarity.
Yeah.
So it's what happens.
mean-
It happens to all of us, man.
Yeah.
Let's go get some burgers.
Yeah.
Can't do the show without it.
Dude, let's get her nut and then let's go get some burgers, bro. I bet they high-fived at
Oh,
some
yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Like when that idea came up, they're like, let's go to Smiley Burger. And they're like, fuck yeah.
It's so great though. Like
In bed.
it sucks that you're giving Kevin Spacey this moment because he doesn't actually deserve it. He's a piece of shit.
No, he doesn't.
Not Kevin
deserve it.
Spacey, the character. I mean, Kevin Spacey, whatever.
Yeah.
But Lester does not deserve to have this higher than thou, holier than thou moment. But he gets it, and it's still pretty great when he's like, "My name's Lester, and something tells me you're going to remember me this time. You don't ever get to tell me what to do ever again."
I take it back. This is the best moment of the movie. 100%.
It's the moment. It's like, no, Carolyn, I truly want you to be happy. Do you want smiley sauce with that?
and the assistant manager that's there, she's like, busted.
This is none of your business. Well,
Actually, it is.
She's the drive-through manager, so technically you're on her turf.
But normally, you see what I'm saying? Like, normally that'd be so fucking great for our main character to be like, yes!
Yeah.
But that character doesn't deserve it.
You're right.
You
And
know?
Is this before or after the conversation they have on the couch?
It's after. Because she goes, oh, there's been a lot of things I've been up to, Mr. Smarty Pants. You know, like, she's alluding
so she's kind
to
of
that.
holding it over
Yeah.
and like, yeah, just kind of dangling it a little
Yeah.
bit. It is. It's like it's that moment of like it's this too little too late thing, I guess, for their relationship again.
Yeah.
It sucks, though, because that whole couch thing, like, he's doing the right thing by being like, you know what? It's time. Let's initiate this. Like,
We need to
this.
do this and do it together.
But also, like, she's I don't blame her for being like, hey, that's a $4,000 couch. Can you just put the beer down? but then like he flips out. He could have just put the beer down.
Yeah,
I can see how you'd be like, yeah, like what the fuck? Who cares about the couch? Just put the beer down.
Yeah, it's a principle of the thing.
Yes, it's for both of them. It's the
over.
principle of the thing.
It's completely over.
Would you take it easy? Put the beer down. Oh yeah, sorry. It's like yeah.
He could have been like, yeah, I'll put it down.
Yeah,
shirt off, and then they would have been right back into it. But
it's like God, if we're gonna do this, I mean, we might be able to resell that on Facebook Marketplace. You know, God, it's a nice
okay,
couch.
I get it. When you put it like that,
when you put it like that,
there's a nice couch.
Oh my goodness.
Now it's gonna have jizz stains.
I'm definitely soft
Let's do
now.
that first.
I'm soft now, so we are gonna have to work on this since we did this whole conversation. But like we'll keep going.
Just rub it against the Italian silk.
You're
right, know what I mean? Like they're both wrong, but the movie does portray Lester to be right.
Yeah.
In a lot of these scenarios, but he's not in many of them.
I mean, he's
mad that his wife was cheating on him when he's trying to bang a 17-year-old.
Is he trying to bang the 17-year-old already?
That's the whole reason.
You think that's the whole?
He's ready to go. He's prepping himself for this.
And
you're not holier than thou, man.
You're right. His motives are not honorable. That's what we're getting.
When then
right?
he even says to her too, Caroline. He says to her, "When did you become so joyless?" And it's like you're
a harsh
one to fucking
accusation.
talk,
bro.
Yeah,
that's a harsh accusation. Just because you found it doesn't mean
you found it yesterday.
Just because
and you don't even know if this is your thing.
Dude.
Have you tried to weightlift consistently for more than a week?
This is the equivalent. This is the equivalent of okay. We all come in on Sunday, right? We're gonna come in again to podcast in like 4 days. Okay,
less than that, bro.
Less than that. And between now and then, Sean walks in with the fucking confidence of a 33-year-old.
I got a fur coat on,
and he says, he's like, yeah, I started working out and eating right. So, you guys shouldn't be drinking that beer. And it's just like, fuck you, dude. Like, it's the same.
Literally 3 days ago.
It's the same. I saw you 3 days ago. Okay.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
It's the same. You're right.
It's the same thing.
When did you become so joyless? It should have been when did we
when did you become so holier than thou?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird, man. I just it's wild. And then this whole like the nude like the blowjob scene, like it's so
I laugh my ass off.
I do too.
Why do we have to see it from his perspective?
This is totally an Austin Powers scene.
It is. Oh my god!
It's all I could think about when I'm watching this. Is just like
kind of do that.
Oh, all the time. Oh god!
Like in this movie, did they kind of do
no?
that?
Like in Austin Powers,
no. That's like it's like the whole bit throughout the whole
I
series.
mean, it's the ongoing.
It's
the
at
entire.
the end of the first one or something like that.
Dude.
Yeah.
Like holding like two melons as she's like with her breast
taking a bite of a sausage.
Yes, it's that whole. It reminded me so much of it. I'm like this. I can't take it seriously.
The first time after I watched this movie, I tried to imitate pretty much everything I saw because I was just so into this movie.
Absolutely.
So like the next day, I think my buddy had a drug dealer come over and roll joints, and I did. Well, I think you're supposed to sit like this.
Yeah, you did that.
I just went. Is everybody? Nobody else is sitting like this. Okay,
I'm just gonna let him do it.
You drag the rolling tray over to like kind of where your thighs
come
are.
Come on, sit right here.
Right.
That's what we're supposed to do.
Oh, no one else is sitting like that. Okay.
Oh, got it.
It is funny. It's really, this is the satire of it, but then it's not because he's going to kill him. It's just like, what?
It's like, oh man, this is kind of funny. Oh, he's beating his son. Oh,
wow. He beat his son.
Wow. Oh, this man has problems.
And what's really wild is like, as that scene happens, he sneaks into his room. Did you see how he looks in the drawer with the weed in it? But he's just too dumb. That hole's there. He's just too dumb to realize it's the false bottom drawer.
Yeah.
He looks right at it. And again, another moment, had he just been like, what the fuck is this hole? And opened it and found all the weed, boom, this movie's over too. Lester does not die.
Ricky dies.
Ricky literally dies. And Lester lives. But these just small moments in Lester's life, like he almost got saved many times, and he did not.
It's because Colonel Fitz has the horse blinders on. He knows what he wants to find. Not what he's looking for weed.
He's not looking for a false bottom. He's looking for a dildo.
He wants fucking
He
wants gay confirmation, not weed confirmation.
Do you think the reason he flipped out so hard about the Nazi plate what if he like hid like gay porn somewhere in there, like underneath?
He has
in
a
this
false
locked
bottom.
He has a false bottom under his Nazi
interesting.
plate.
Yeah.
Hell
He
yeah.
does.
Whoa.
He definitely does. Yes.
He definitely does.
And he doesn't want. He wanted to fear of God. And Ricky, do not ever fucking go in there.
Yep.
Were you looking for money? What were you doing in there? What were you looking for? That's where he keeps
What'd you find?
What did you see?
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
I like that.
That's
I don't
where he keeps the gayness.
Yeah.
He stores it in there
With the Nazis.
with the Nazi
I
stuff.
just read the periodicals.
It's
I love the articles.
I like to know like skincare routines and shit.
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
great.
Like,
Playboy. They know what they're doing. Okay. I
Bert
just
Kreischer wrote an article in there.
it's fashion. Okay. The fashion articles. Come on. God.
What vest am I supposed to buy tomorrow?
All right, final scene,
satin
boys.
in.
Scene 5. At home, Jane argues with Angela over her sexual interest in Lester when Ricky interrupts to ask Jane to leave with him for New York City. Frank tentatively approaches Lester in the Burnham's garage, then breaks down and tearfully embraces him. Lester confronts Frank until Frank attempts to kiss him and then leaves. Lester and Angela nearly have sex before Lester stops. Angela goes to the bathroom as Lester smiles at a family photograph when an unseen figure shoots Lester in the back of the head at point blank range. Despite being murdered, he's finally happy knowing that beauty can be found anywhere in the world.
I gotta talk about this scene where Jane and Ricky are together, and it's the scene
From the beginning.
from the
Yep.
beginning. Even in the beginning when we said we don't need that, we don't even need this.
Nope.
Like, this is pure stupidness. I don't know what this scene is even doing here, because of, like, he's completely naked, and it's like, did they even fuck, or are they just naked because it's beautiful? Like, there's no reason for this scene.
The idea that they have to go to Chicago is not needed. Because by the way,
guess
they're
that's
like,
it, is just to tell the audience that they're trying to leave. But we got that.
But we
already.
don't even care. And then they go, we should leave right now. And then they just lay in bed. It's like, well, no, let's not leave right now.
Yeah,
Let's leave in the morning.
Like
You're right. You're absolutely right, Sean.
The problem is that you're right, but I like the scenes. You know what I mean? Like, I just happen to like them.
I get you.
But they don't add any value like you guys are talking about. They don't propel anything along. They don't add any thought process. This was never a whodunit like you said beforehand. We never it's like, well, do you want me to kill him? And like maybe what for like 2 seconds it could be like, well, who did it? It's like, no.
I never once.
But there was never a
Carolyn's
question.
got a gun. Whatever. She hasn't gotten out of the car yet. So
Correct. They could have this movie could have been edited into a great whodunit, but they didn't
but
want.
that's not what it was.
They didn't want it to. You don't want this as a whodunit. You need it as a moment in time telling. You know, that's really what you need. Like. Yeah, you're right. It doesn't add anything. Unfortunately, I did like it though.
No,
I liked that. I think it just shows what they're doing in this during this time.
I get that.
Maybe that's it
and I
now.
think you're right.
That's it.
They did edit it into that type of movie. I'm
Yeah.
not saying that they were trying to go for a whodunit.
No,
thing
no,
or
I don't. Sorry, I don't think you were saying that.
Okay.
At all.
Yeah. No, I think, like I said, I think the script and the structure of the script is actually great.
Mm-hmm.
Like the whole plotting this thing out and everything like that is just like there's no more layers other than it just being like kind of a very well structured story that I can't help but take my eyes off of because of the structure and the performances.
Yeah. But, and then again, even like Mina Savari, her character, like, you know, they just got done like literally berating her for just being a normal teenager. Like, you're ugly and you care what people think. It's like, well, yeah, I'm a teenager.
Right.
And then she's completely right. She's like, don't go to Chicago with him. What are you doing?
Yeah.
She's absolutely right. Ricky Fitz is the fucking type of Columbine kid that is about to happen or has happened. Like, fucking Ricky Fitz is a disaster. He's a nightmare. And now he's going to take you to Chicago with all his drug dealer friends. Like,
He literally
you don't even
said-
know him.
Maybe that's one of the funniest moments of delivery is the fact that, like, I have $40,000. We can go to Chicago right now. I know people in Chicago. What? Other drug dealers? Yes. What the fuck?
Yeah, they're cool. I know it's like
Really cool.
They're actually super nice people.
they just sell you drugs and leave your house.
Yeah, no, they're the kind that sticks around. Yeah.
He's
You want to
gonna-
watch a movie?
He's going to go stay with Eric Stoltz in Pulp Fiction.
God damn it. Man, but even this, I think this might be one of the best writing, maybe, this this setup of in the garage with Lester and Colonel Fitz, like all the innuendos that he gives out unknowingly.
Yeah.
That's a really brilliant like bit of writing there.
That you're right.
Because why would you ever think it? And no one watching this for the first time thinks that Colonel Fitz is gay.
I agree.
You're never implied to know this.
And go ahead.
Well, this is my question was because up until honestly we've just been talking about it now. I came to do the show and ask you guys, has he been gay the whole time or closeted this whole time? Or is this like, well, maybe it's not so bad and I need to understand what my son is going through moment?
No, I think it's been closeted.
The whole time.
I like Sean's version of it.
Okay.
I think that's what happened.
I think, well, and I only say that because I think there was some background taken out of the script where there was, or maybe they even shot it, but there was a picture of Colonel Fitz with his like platoon pretty much, and they were like, it was the only time you see him smiling was in that picture. And he's just with him, and it kind of implies it, and he like in the script he looks at it kind of like, you know, that was the good times.
Yeah,
it implies he had a lover at one point in time during the war.
Yeah, and even before I found that out, I thought maybe it was just like he wasn't gay, or he wasn't gay and just kind of just doesn't know who he is, so he's trying something out to see
that's
who
what
he
I
is.
thought.
That could be a thing.
And like either or, I'm fine with.
Yeah, that's what I thought up until we honestly started talking.
Yeah,
because I just thought like maybe he is really at this breaking point of thinking about his son doing this, going through this, and
his son seems very happy.
Correct, and his son seems happy, or like he's been trying to understand his son,
right?
Have these connections with his son this whole time, and now he's just like, maybe I've just been wrong this whole time. Maybe there's something here, and he just has this breakdown moment.
And maybe that's
but I have no idea
what he was trying to say to him earlier in his room when he just couldn't get it out.
Like I'm trying to understand. But you're right. Now talking about it, I think it was just been this closeted situation the whole time.
You know, so apparently in the original script, Lester was actually supposed to go through with the sex with Angela.
Yeah.
Like not only is it weird enough, but that in the actual script it was going to happen. And there's some weird stuff. Like you should read back on Mina Suvari, I guess, put out a book that there's some weird. She felt some uncomfortable moments in her entire career. Like she had it very bad.
Yeah.
Fuck Hollywood. But there was apparently a moment where like she was nervous and Kevin Spacey took her in another room and they basically like cuddled in a bed by themselves for like 30 minutes. Like dick to ass, like gently caressing skin. It's just weird. Hollywood's fucking weird. And the fact that they actually, it is a silly place. Let's not go there.
Weird place, man.
No, but the fact that they were actually thinking that they were going to go through with this, but then it gives Lester again this moment of like, oh, look how good Lester is. He quit.
Yeah.
He stopped.
Look at this. Yeah, he stopped.
Moment.
He stopped it. That's good for him.
This is where like I thought in my first watch of this for the show, I'm like, oh wow, yeah, like this is like the breaking moment where he realizes that he doesn't want to be the kid that he's trying to be pretty much and actually be an adult. And like she says like, yeah, Jane, she thinks she's in love, and he's like, that's great. You know, those were great moments for me. But I was like, but that's where it ends. And then he just dies.
He's still not doing anything about it. He's looking at the photo of his family, which was like such a beautiful moment.
Yeah.
The last thing he sees before he dies is family.
Yeah.
But like, how about you just go put your family back together then?
But it was,
you know,
they also talked about in that interview that I watched with Lex Friedman and Kevin Spacey, he talked about how Sam Mendes wanted his portrayal to be like Jack Lemmon in The Apartment, which is a very awesome movie. He didn't want the audience to see the character's kind of trajectory. Or like, they didn't want to see the character change throughout the movie. They wanted to see growth. And they wanted it to be sudden. They wanted it to be like right then and there. That's when you realize that he's changed. It's like, but I know what it's been leading up to. You know, right. And the change happens where he decides not to have sex with a minor. I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's just weird. Good job,
good,
man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, those are some good morals.
Wow.
It's like,
Jesus
hey man,
Christ.
I stopped when I saw our kids.
It's To Catch a Predator. It's literally like, we weren't going to do anything.
What?
What's in your bag? Condoms and pepperoni pizza? We weren't going to fucking do anything.
What? I brought over some Mike's Hard Lemonade.
I came over to make sure that nobody else was going to be here doing anything.
Sorry, this was 1999. I just brought over some wine coolers and some. It's like
And some searches we're going to be up all night.
and some Bobby Darin. Like that's what I brought. I don't know what you're talking about.
God damn, you're right. That's the magic of Hollywood, being able to make just a terrible. If this was in a newspaper, like they some guy got killed in your neighborhood, he got murdered in his house, but there was a teenage girl there that said that they were gonna have sex. You'd be like, fuck that piece of shit. But we're like, Lester Burnham. Wow.
I don't mind following I guess not problematic, but like a complicated protagonist. I don't mind doing that.
No.
Like, and say like another movie did this where there was like, that's their, kind of a little bit like Election-ish, but that was satire. And it was on the nose satire. This is too on the nose melodramatic sort of cliche.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just doesn't work that much for me.
There's a big difference between, man, that's a good. He's got some morals to. Oh, thank fucking God. You know what I mean? Like, geez, like we didn't need that. We already got enough of of the idea that like he's doing this to Ricky or something. You know what I mean? And then we have this moment of clarity for Lester,
Right.
and it is a sad moment of like of this idea. It just becomes this Of Mice and Men moment of like the gun to the head of Lenny.
Yeah.
Look at the rabbits and say goodnight. You know what I mean? That's kind of what it ends up being. And it's sad, but at the same because you hate to see a person pushed to this. At the same time, it certainly doesn't negate all the bullshit and shitty things you've been doing as a father, as a husband, as just a human being, a functioning member of society.
Yeah.
So you're right. Like Lester Burnham is not a hero. Like,
No.
it's not a hero story. It is just a moment. The only thing that makes this sad is this moment of clarity that it's cut short.
Yeah.
And that's what it is.
Yeah, and I definitely feel that. And now we've talked about Lester and Kevin Spacey. I think that this is Mina Savari's, her best moments are right here, where like the moments of her getting up and like putting her shirt on, he puts a blanket over her, she's like, what did I do? Did I do something wrong? I was like almost wanting to cry. I'm just like, like, I don't know. It just felt so real, and in hearing stuff about her actual life, it just made it even more real. I don't know. She's excellent, especially during the latter half of this movie. I think she's fantastic.
Yeah,
I think it's when she starts to shine. Like, I think, and maybe it's a credit to some of the writing and some of the makeup, especially, was one of those moments of how they progressed Jane and Angela to be. Angela used more and more makeup throughout the movie. Jane used less and less, and to kind of show how much they were either attaching or detaching to that kind of mentality. And I think it was like a really great moment for her to finally shine, finally have a moment of reality. She was great in it, and I think. The wrap up of it, watching everyone's perspective when that gunshot is fired, is also really cool.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite things that happens in movies, is showing perspective at the same time of a single moment.
Yeah.
Everyone, like Carolyn's walking up with the gun, she doesn't even hear it, hardly, right? And where Angela is at, where Jane and Ricky are at, what happens after with Colonel, like all that stuff. I think that's one of my favorite moments too, because it's I don't know, it's such a perfect wrap up, I guess, and their reactions as well. That's one of my favorite things.
I agree with you.
Well, we have dissected American Beauty with the modern eye. Time to give it a modern day rating. Sean, we'll start with you, man. What do you think?
Yeah, unfortunately, I just think this movie just doesn't age very well, in my opinion. starting off with positives, I guess, though, like the performances are all great. I think the cinematography is fantastic. And even some of the direction, knowing that this is his first movie coming off of being more of a stage director, it makes total sense through like for certain parts of the movie, especially dream sequences and stuff. Mina Suvari, I think, is underrated in this, to be honest. Annette Bening should have won the Academy Award. But yeah, like it ultimately, this movie just makes me kind of feel a little like bleh, like empty, or like it brought up some really cool ideas that I really like to talk about with people, but and it was almost like it brought up a conversation and then made me finish it by myself.
Oh, that's a good way to put it. Yeah.
I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna go. Dang. I'm gonna go 6.1.
Ooh, 6.1 for Sean or AJ. What about you, man?
You know, the difference being that I, as much as I hadn't really known about this movie. You know, I didn't pay a lot of attention to this movie originally as a kid, and then you kind of watch it and you're older and more along in life and stuff. And I think those are the points that hit you the hardest. And like we talked about, I think that when you're 18 years old, it's going to hit you a lot different than when you're 35 plus. And I think that like when you're going to identify along the way and kind of see this. And I like the way that it's put. It's like this deterioration of like the nuclear family, the idea of the perfect family, and how much kind of bullshit it really is. For that, I think it's really great. The other end of it too is there are aspects that, yeah, they truly just don't age well, and sometimes it comes across as cliche, even though it might have been on the forefront and the frontier of like kind of making these ideas. And other times it's just like, it just seems like you're trying to be grab-assy, with me at this point. And I think that the thing that I really want to maybe give the most credit to is really the ending. And I think that the ending, they had a lot of opportunity to fuck the ending up. Mm-hmm. Like, let's just be blunt about it. They had a lot of opportunity to it. And like I said, we didn't even want to talk about it at the ending. I know we talked about it at the beginning. It's supposed to end very bleak. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad that it didn't. I'm glad that it ended with Lester. And Lester is not a hero, but he's a character worth having a redemption, no matter how short-lived it ends up being. And that redemption, and it's his afterthoughts, and the parts that really hit me the hardest, I think, were lying on the ground looking at the stars of Boy Scout camp. My grandmother's skin, like paper, and Janie, that door that opens, and then the door opens again, and she's a little girl again. And Carolyn, and it's these memories and ideas, and the idea of like looking back, my life was insignificant probably, but in the end I was probably happier than I thought I was. I think that's a continuing theme. That all being said, I will give it the credit on that note, and I think I'll give it a 7.65.
Nice. 7.65. I had to really compare this to a couple movies done. Heathers, American Psycho, Election. I think I had to really look at those because I felt like it was in the same vein of some sorts. I think Election and American Psycho did this sentiment so much better. They knew what it was, and they went here. But this one did not. It was weird how I loved it so much when I was an 18, 20-year-old, and now I'm just like, But at the same time, guys, like the acting, the Kevin Spacey, Annette Bening, Mina Suvari, the ideas, the sentiment of the movie, the shots of the movie, overall have to at least ride this up higher for me, but it's not going to be as high as those two movies. It is going to be bigger than Heathers for me. I'm going to be a 7.6 on this one. We got to go to Starling. Starling says, watching American Beauty with a modern lens, I was struck by how differently I remembered it. In my mind, it was all about Kevin Spacey's character getting killed by his homophobic neighbor after he shot his shot, no pun intended, alongside some vague recollection of him quitting his job and buying a sports car. But only a few minutes in, I'm reminded just how incredible the acting is in this movie. There's multiple complex characters, and the actors are crushing it. Shame on me for forgetting starring Annette Bening, who steals the show as Carolyn. She's the force behind some of the most compelling moments, acting her ass off, showing Carolyn's clawing for perfection that her family begrudgingly tolerates. Rewatching this film today, it's odd to think of Kevin Spacey's character Lester Burnham as the hero I previously remembered. Sure, he dies, that's horrible, but this is another Mrs. Doubtfire situation where I remembered his wife as the problem and was rooting for him, not her. Lester's arc is mostly going from passive to aggressive. He was content to drift through his miserable suburban existence until he finally snaps. He's not a likable guy until he's delicate with handling letting his sexually repressed neighbor off easily. Quitting his job is the first act of rebellion, but that doesn't make him likable. Lester's midlife crisis culminates in him chasing the gross dream of seducing his teenage daughter's best friend, throwing all his energy into gym workouts and sports cars. He really puts all his eggs into the Angela basket, which makes him even more pervy than I remember. Meanwhile, Annette Bening's Carolyn is undoubtedly superficial and, yes, a bit annoying, but she has clear goals, drive, and ambition. Today, she'd be on Instagram hawking houses and promoting a lifestyle. Watching her character now, she feels far more relatable than she did 20 years ago, where she came off as more of a caricature. We know and see way too many Carolyns now.
Wow, yeah.
Let's talk about the gay couple next door, who honestly might be the most attractive gay couple in any Oscar-nominated movie. Yes, looking at you, Brokeback Mountain. Damn, Scott Bakula in a matching black running outfit with his partner. They're the only characters in this film who seem genuinely happy living their best and most authentic lives. The lyrics from that South Park song, "Gay means happy and happy means gay," comes to mind. In suburban America in the late 90s, it's not easy to be an openly gay couple, but they make it look effortless because unlike anyone else, they've nothing to hide. You know they're gay, so now what? In the opposite end of the spectrum is the neighbor Colonel Fitz. I don't know everything that's going on with his wife, and it seems like a waste of talent like Alice and Jenny.
Definitely.
Totally.
Yeah. Lots of dark vibes in that house. Let me say now, if you ever pull a Nazi dinnerware out, that's when old Starling is skedaddling. I was like, damn, Thora Birch, where's Thackeray Binks popping up and saying, girl, get the fuck out of here. At its core,
Welcome to the pumpkin patch, Binks.
At its core, American Beauty is a film about facades. Every character is living a lie, delicate flowers pretending to be something they're not, and everyone is miserable for it. By the end, everyone who's faking it cracks and unravels in one way or another, pushing them towards the reality they've been avoiding or secretly wishing for. I don't know that the point here is to say what we would say, be your authentic self to find happiness. That's easier said than done. I think the film is more about showing how utterly miserable people are when they're living a lie. This is a good movie. I'm glad I rewatched it. I don't know that I ever need to see it again, though. I respectfully give it a 7.25.
Okay.
So, friends, taking all that into accommodation there, we are 7.15 as a group, which feels okay to me. That's going to pop it alone into the 94th spot. We think Groundhog Day, Starship Troopers, Point Break is better than this, but we think it's better than Con Air, National Treasure, The Mummy, and Fast and Furious.
Was
Oh,
that
it
what
is.
our nostalgic rating was?
Oh, no, was it?
It sounds so familiar.
We were a 7.13. So we were
Wow.
we were
Big
we were
increase.
pretty damn big increase there.
Dang.
0.02 of a point.
What a weird change.
Yeah.
We went up. We
Yeah,
went up on this.
I
one.
know.
I guess so.
Well, we hope you enjoyed the episode. Thanks for being here. Tune in next week. We got a Rick Moranis candle to light with Little Giants, and we're following that by Patreon voted movie Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2: Secret of the Ooze. And if you're new to the podcast, go back this time last year. Young Guns was our flick that we
bet.
did a year ago today.
I like to think that you said Rick Moranis Candle Delight, and I'm going to stick with that. Guys, thank you so much for listening to the episode. Please find us on Instagram, on the old TikTok, anywhere on social media, and give us a old like and follow us along there at Confused Breakfast anywhere on social media. Follow us on the, hit subscribe actually on your podcast platform. Most people don't even subscribe when they are listening to podcasts. Hit the subscribe button and leave us a review. We would love to hear a review from you. Write us a review on Apple Podcasts, 5 stars anywhere where you're listening, guys. We'd appreciate it.
While you are on the World Wide Web, go to confusedbreakfast.com and see the merch that we have. You can get shirts, and then eventually I think there'll be new stuff up there. But in the meantime, you can get roses that are yellow that have our logo on it. Go to confusedbreakfast.com as well to see the ratings of the movies that we have covered. You can see AJ's ratings, you can see Mike's ratings, you can see my ratings, and you can see our ratings combined as a show overall. I love you. Goodbye.
Produced by Upload Media Group in Cedar Rapids. We got Logan on the controls, the best podcast award show guy in history.
Hey, y'all.
UploadMediaGroup.com and learn more about our amazing network, cloud10.fm. That's it for us. Goodbye.
Goodbye.